Yo, what's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. It's your boy Sports PSP. Got my man Harrison in the building. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. School's been school's been doing okay. Just been grinding. Also doing content as well. So yeah, it's been doing pretty good so far.
And of course, we can't do the show without undisputed world champ. How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? Sports world has been crazy the last week, brother. Crazy.
To say crazy would be an understatement.
Yes.
Yes. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Michigan. Of course, folks, they won the national championship. This is their first time they won the national championship. You got to go back to 1997, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the year champ in which Charles Woodson won the Heisman Trophy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is going to be big. This is going to be huge for Michigan. They finally won. Very happy, very ecstatic that they won the national championship. This is huge. Very impressive win, 34-13. It was very close. The only mistake I had a problem with Jim Harbaugh. Why are you going for it on 4th and 3 when you know you had a 14-point lead? And when you had a hard time with third downs, I felt like you should have just punted the ball in that situation and let Washington score, but inside their own 10 or 15 or 20. But a win is a win to wrap up the season. It was an excellent college football season. What are your thoughts about the game, champ?
It's plain and simple. Michigan played big house football. They played big house football. It's plain and simple. And what did Bro Schamberger say? You got to run the ball. And they ran the ball and out physical Washington all night long. And for Jim Harbaugh, it's got to be jubilation as well as validation. Because remember, during the COVID year, they was talking about getting rid of Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
Remember the COVID year, they was talking about getting rid of him. They was talking about how overrated he was, and then back-to-back seasons where you made it to the college football playoffs, and if it had not been for a late resurgence, you get blown out by TCU, and then the game before that, you get beat by Georgia, who later became the national champions. And I really feel like the sentiment was this year had to be the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they did not win this year, then this whole season, this whole universe was kind of quote unquote gonna blow itself up. And he did it amid all the controversy of the cheating scandals, not to mention the hamburger scandal, and just to name a few things that went wrong during that program this year. Yet they were able to rally around their coach and do just the unthinkable. And they out physical Alabama, which is very, very hard to do. I mean, you saw what happened to my Georgia Bulldogs in that SEC championship. They out physical, Alabama. So for
Yeah.
them to out physical those two teams and neutralize the air raid, aka the run and shoot offense, was nothing short of spectacular. I don't know if this is going to be Harbaugh's last year, but if he is, what a hell of a way to go out. And hell, on top of that, you retired Nick Saban.
On top of that, that assistant coach, I keep forgetting his name in Michigan, who took over for Jim Harbaugh during his suspension.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna make. He's gonna. I hope Michigan they find a suitable replacement. But if you want to hire him as a head coach, hey, can't go wrong with that.
Cannot go wrong at all.
Harrison, I'm gonna let you go. What are your thoughts about Michigan winning the national championship?
Uh, all I'm gonna say is finally, we're not gonna see Alabama, Clemson, Georgia in the national championship. Thank God. Thank God it's something new for once because I never watched the college football play because I've been seeing Alabama, Clemson, and also Alabama, like Clemson and Georgia every single year. But thank God we got something new for once. I'm happy. I'm happy for Michigan. Hopefully, if Jim Harbaugh left Michigan, I wouldn't be shocked at the end of the day. I really hope that he can be successful in the National Football League. But at the end of the day, like congratulations to Michigan. They worked their ass off. They played better. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Leaf, what's going on, man? What's your thoughts on Michigan winning the national championship?
Good day to you, sirs. I it goes back to something that I said weeks ago, and stand on business once again when I say it. There's going to be a day where the SEC doesn't dominate the national championship scene, and this past weekend was that day. And when you have teams like Michigan and Washington, I guess if you want to say the numbers or the ratings went down or whatever the case may be, like that's fine. But the bottom line is the days of the SEC reigning supreme over the national championship scene are starting to come to a complete end. And I myself can never be more happier because I'm one of those people. I'm not. It's not that I'm a parody fan. That's just that I'm one of those. Okay, this is getting a little bit too repetitive, like the discomforter, I guess if you want to say. But shout out. I didn't really watch the game too much, man. I kind of like watched snippets of it, man. But shout out to Michigan. I guess shout out to Harbaugh. He probably should be on his way as well. Nick Saban is no more. Um, he's pretty much out. If you want to blame it on the NILs or if you want to blame it on
We're
something
gonna talk
else.
about Alabama later on, Leaf, but back to Michigan.
But as far as Michigan goes, congratulations to that team. I kind of jinxed it, but I thought I was gonna jinx it before the game because I said somebody was saying Michigan win anything after what Chris Webber did. I was like, that's the basketball team, buddy. The football team doesn't hold that. I don't think they hold that curse, and they didn't. So congratulations to the football team. And congratulations to Harbaugh and coach the hell of a game.
All right, Trey, what's your thoughts on Michigan winning the national championship?
My thoughts. Well, shout out to Michigan and Jim Harbaugh for getting it done. And basically putting Nick Saban out of his misery. Good riddance. See you later. It's a new day in college football.
All right, anything else y'all got to say before we
You know
move
what?
on?
I'm gonna
Go
say
ahead.
this right now, and you guys are gonna hate on me on this, but Coach K retiring was way more sadder than seeing Nick Saban retire.
Oh yes, sir. You preaching to the choir.
He's only saying that because he's a dookie.
Okay, come on,
I
man.
know why he said it, but like he ain't wrong neither.
Five
Uh,
national championships. Had over 1.2K wins in the regular season. He won like six. I think pretty sure 16 ACC. He won the ACC championship 16 times. Who else can do that?
I
That's a good point.
mean, be it that the best player that ever came out of that program was Grant Hill. I
JJ
mean,
Redick. Christian
n-
Leitner.
nah.
You can say that, but
Grant Hill probably filled out the most and probably had the most promise coming into the league. And in his first 6 years, um, well, I don't give two damns about what Jason Tatum does, but in his first 6 years, bro, like was on his way to being a a top 50 player all time, as opposed to a
Hmm.
lot of the other players that came out of that school. If you're telling me that the last product is Pialo Banchero, man, I'm like,
Yeah, Paul
man,
Banchero. That dude was a stud when it was on Coach K's last run.
yeah.
All
if
right,
you just
AJ Griffin, Wendell Moore went to my school, by the way,
no
my high
more,
school.
yeah.
all right,
That's
guys.
a,
Let's move
but yeah,
on. Let's talk
Yeah, that's what
about
it is, bro.
Alabama. Of course, the big news regarding Alabama: Nick Saban retired. They retired. The Washington coach, Kalen DeBoer, he will be taking over for Alabama. Correct me if I'm wrong, champ.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you look at Alabama, Nick Saban. He joined the team since 2007. Numerous SEC championships, numerous appearances in the college football playoffs. He definitely changed the game as far as with college football. In my opinion, he's the greatest college football head coach of all time, although you can make an argument for Bear Bryant. Champ, I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts about Nick Saban retiring?
Number one, I think that he did not want to deal with the NIL or the transfer portal anymore, but yet he won in each and every last one of those eras. He won during the era where TV rights were changing for college football. He won when the talent pool was very, very versatile. He won during a time where a lot of other college football teams were dominant at a certain point, well, rising to prominence at a certain point. So he did it. I really give him I really give it to him over Bear Bryant. And the reason why I say that, and I want you to read between the lines on this a little bit, a lot of coaches back then were beneficiaries of being ahead of their time, if you get what I'm trying to say. So a lot of coaches back then were beneficiaries of being ahead of their time. Alabama was a huge name back then, as well as Notre Dame. So those were the only two guys that were on TV at a certain point, that were on radio at a certain point. Nick Saban did it at a time where everybody was on TV doing streaming. So he didn't have that main thing to recruit off of. Because remember where Alabama was before he got there. Mike Shula was the coach with 6-6 win season, barely winning bowl games. So for him to revive that program from prominence after not winning a national championship since 1992, that's nothing short of amazing. Not to mention, you made the whole conference ante up themselves. You made Georgia fire a coach that was a good coach. Mark Richt was a great coach, but you made them. But it was to the point where we had to fire him in order to get someone in there to get us over the hump and win a national championship.
And who'd you get in return?
We
Kirby
got
Smart.
Kirby Smart. We got Kirby Smart,
And where
and
he came from?
he came from Alabama. So he made us and every team in the SEC up the ante. Not to mention made Dabo Sweeney and Clemson. He made them up the ante on recruiting. I mean, every team during Nick Saban's era was trying to beat Alabama. Every team in the SEC was trying to beat Alabama, and they rarely did it. He only lost 29 games in 17 years. You go 17 years and only win and only lose 29 games. In fact, you have more first round picks than you have losses. I mean, and it's not just the players and it's not just the way he won, it's in dominant fashion. Half of these players that he coached are shaping the NFL right now as we see it. They're shaping the NFL right now as we see it. And if you look at some of his assistants, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, just to name a few, they're shaping college football right now as we see it. And they could very well be the next man up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Harrison, what says you about Nick Saban leaving Alabama?
I mean, it was a shock. I did not see that one coming. I mean, I feel like he doesn't. It's like Coach K. He doesn't want to deal with the transfer portals and all that type of shit of like who's gonna go where. But I don't know. I mean, I was sad to see him gone. I mean, he is one of the goats of college football, aka Nick Saban. But yeah, it's tough. It's time for it's like a new era for college football. So yeah.
Leaf?
Um, the same way I felt when Bill Belichick left. Bye. Um, listen, we thank you for what you did for the SEC. I guess in retrospect, usually in college or even college football, in the past, when coaches seem to leave or head out the back door, that usually means something is on the horizon. Something don't seem right. But at the same time, I don't really want to think that way. I want to think positive today. But respect is a record. Is respect what he did. But yeah, you could go. You could go home now. We could do without you.
And Trey already said goodbye, good rinse, time for a new day. Trey, is there anything you want to add before I give my opinion on it?
Well, as far as the retirement, the timing, I and Harrison and Leaf already talked about it, but I'm gonna just say it like this: Dick Saban retired because he didn't want to smoke. He knew it was over, so he's like, "Let me just go ahead and get up out of here while I still got my dignity."
Yo, yo, Lee, something wrong with your camera or something, man?
No, no, no. I put my camera on co-signing everything that Trey said.
All right. Trey, you continue on. You said Nick Saban don't want that smoke. Continue.
No, he don't.
What do you mean? What type of
One
smoke?
time,
SEC
one
smoke or what?
the NCAA smoke when
Wait, you
they
talking about
changed
wait, you
the
talking about
playoffs.
sanctions? Like you
Oh, when they changed the playoffs from 4 to 12, and the
Mm-hmm.
schedule came out, 'cause I saw Georgia's schedule. I said, "Uh-oh, this ain't good."
Mm.
Alabama is not going to be able to get away with these weak schedules they've been playing these last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
champ, you was too nice about it, man. Come on, tell us how you really feel, bro.
To be honest with you, you can't really say too much. I mean, my thing is he was beating my team, and it took us forever to beat. It took us forever to beat Nick Saban. Hey, I saw every SEC championship that we lost against them. I mean, say what you will about Nick Saban, but he was a great coach. And my thing is, it's an end of an era. Like I said, I don't think he wants to deal with the NIL. I really don't think he wants to deal with that, especially considering the bad experience that he had with players
Not to
in the
mention the transfer
NFL.
portal.
Huh?
What about the transfer portal,
Yeah.
champ? Do you
Yeah. But
think?
that's Yeah, that was getting to that. I
Oh, I'm
think he
sorry.
had that such a bad experience with managing egos in the NFL that he saw it becoming just like that. I think he had such a bad time managing those egos in the NFL and those grown men making millions of dollars. I think he saw it as like, look, if I don't get out now, I'm going to have to manage the ego of some of these players. And I wasn't able to do that in the NFL.
Exactly, and
You
I
know,
think it's going to be a lot tough for Nick Saban because again, to Champ's point, NIL deals, players want their money, rightfully so. It's a time of a new day, new transition, and Nick Saban just finally reached the point where enough is enough. I've done as far as I could. You look at his record at Alabama. He has a record of 206 and 29, and he went 120 and 18 in the SEC. You can't say nothing about it. I think he's the greatest college football head coach of all time. He's won 6 national titles in Alabama. He won another one at LSU back in 2003. What's going to be for college football? Because SEC, you still got Georgia. Can't discount Georgia. You can't discount Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers. Now, there's going to be some new teams with Texas and Oklahoma. I don't see Oklahoma doing anything, especially in the first year. Texas, I think they'll still be fine, especially the fact that Quinn Ewers is going to be coming back. Now, the question is, what are they going to do with Archie Manning? And also too, you look at the Big Ten, USC, UCLA, they're heading there as well. They're joining Michigan, they're joining Ohio State. So it's going to be a different day for college football. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm just going to appreciate Nick Saban as far as what he's done, as far as a head coach, as far as what he's done for college football. Can't take nothing away from him. So let's talk about another head coach. Leaf, I'm going to let you go first. It's regarding Bill Belichick. After 2.5 decades, it's finally done. It's official. It's over. He is no longer a part of the New England Patriots. I've said it before, man. He hasn't been the same since Tom Brady. I can't find a bigger critic that I know of Bill Belichick and the Patriots more than you, Leaf. So the floor is yours.
Well, I would assume that you were one of the biggest critics of him because you were calling for him to be out, and you were calling for his fraud at his fraudulent uh, uh 10 years since Tom Brady left.
I, s- I said that he hasn't been the same since Tom Brady, and there were reports about him possibly joining Washington, which I did not want in the
oh
first
yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah, and thank God that didn't happen. By the way, but for sure. But I'm gonna try to be as nice about this as possible, man, because as you all know, I am a model citizen. Um, man, damn it, it's a damn good day, ain't it? It's a damn good day,
It's
man.
like your
Listen,
birthday.
yeah, it's but Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are no more. They like we don't have to deal with this clownery anymore, bro. Like really, we don't have to deal with
Well,
any anything, nothing, none of the none of the stuff that they got away with at all. Man, listen. I am
hold on.
forever.
Well,
I'm forever gonna say, listen. Until the only thing that would make me even more happy is Robert Kraft stepping down. That's probably it, man. But this right here, man, this does put
oh
a smile
man,
on my face, man.
bro.
And
Bro is
to top
smiling
it
like
off,
nonstop.
and I think we all are at some point. I mean, but at the same because we already know all of the fraudulent stuff that went down on his way to obviously be statistically becoming the greatest coach in NFL history. And it's going to be remembered, but at the same time, we're not going to forget Spygate. We're not gonna. I'm not. Well, let me speak for myself. I'm never gonna forget Spygate. I'm never gonna forget Deflategate. I'm never gonna forget the cameras that showed up on Cincinnati. I'm never gonna forget none of that. All of those things are gonna be etched and planted in my mind for as long as I breathe air on this earth. And the thing is, I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go, and I can't. I don't have any thing on Nick Saban, but I'm sure there's probably a reason why he stepped down more than the NILs a little bit soon, but we'll find out soon enough. But good riddance to both of them. Appreciate what you done, but like I said, we could do without them both. Carry on.
Trey?
well, unlike Lee, like I was shocked. I wasn't shocked that he retired. That like they let him go because this is already gonna happen. All I got to say is, all right there must come to an end. I don't really have a beef with Bill Belichick since I don't whine and complain like the other teams do, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Seeing how we beat them 3 times with Tom Brady. Bro, this is actually more shocking than ever because like the 2 golden gooses are gone. Both of them out of here.
Okay. Harrison?
Uh, um, I'm just, I'm just, I'm like what Leaf said. It's like a good. I mean, it was a good day that we don't see the go Tom. I was more happy seeing Brady retire more than seeing Bill Belichick gone. I'll be honest with you because after when Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, the Buccaneers were literally a quarterback away to make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. And guess what? They fucking did. But man, I'm not surprised. Where the number one question is, where would Bill Belichick go? I know we've been hearing about the Chargers. Well, he's not going to the Commander. That's the good sign about for PSP. So that's good. But I
Absolutely.
think that Ben Johnson is going to be
I ain't going
going
to
to the team.
Chicago neither, so
No, he's not going to Chicago either. But I hope he does not
No,
come to my team either.
Matt Eberflus is still retaining his job. So
He's still, but they fired their offensive coordinator. So that's
No,
the.
they fired their whole staff. They got all of them up out of there, brother.
they got rid of
But
all their staff, but they still keep him.
Mm-hmm.
I
Isn't it
don't know
kind of like
either.
Brandon Staley to some extent?
I'm going to say this right now. If Bill Belichick came to Carolina, this is going to be a nightmare. This is going to be a huge nightmare. but at the end of the day, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day to be an NFL fan because we don't have to see Bill Belichick. Kind of reminds me of when he has that sad face. Reminds me of Walter from Jeff Dunham. So today's a,
Damn.
That okay. That's crazy. Champ, since you are the most knowledgeable one amongst them all, no disrespect, fellas. What are your thoughts about Bill Belichick being let
The
go?
end of an era, man. We never saw a dynasty like this before. I don't think we're gonna see another one. We don't see another coach win 6 Super Bowls. And not to mention, he's on the
Oh,
verge. He's 14 wins away from breaking Don Shula's record. So depending on where he go, especially if he ends up going to the right team, he could end up breaking that record within the next 2 years. So my thing is, it's the end of an era. And what makes me kind of, it doesn't make me mad, but it's just kind of because I'm not a Patriots fan. I don't have a dog in the fight. What kind of makes you question NFL fans or NFL savant is when they say, well, he didn't win without Brady. Well, hey, Tom Landry didn't win without Roger Staubach. Paul Brown didn't win without Otto
mm-hmm,
Graham. Hey,
mm-hmm,
Lombardi did not win without Bart Starr. And you can go on and on as
mm-hmm,
it goes along. Hey, Tom Flores did not win without Jim Plunkett. And the thing about that, Jim
mm-hmm,
Plunkett didn't even start in either one of those Super Bowl seasons. So when you say if it wasn't for Bill Belichick, it wouldn't be a Tom Brady. And if you really want to be honest about it, although Tom Brady was serviceable and he was good in those first 3 Super Bowls, he was not the GOAT that we know him as today. Those defenses that he had with Lawyer Malloy, Rodney Harrison, Vince Wilfork, Willie McGinnis, I
Richard
mean Mike
Seymour.
Vrabel, yeah, Richard Seymour, Go Dogs. Those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Some of those guys are in the Hall of Fame or either up for the Hall of Fame. Richard Seymour is in the Hall of Fame right now.
A
So
lot of
the
those guys were
yeah,
Bill Parcells
him,
guys, by the way.
Bill Parcells left.
him and Kyle Law.
Bill Parcells left in 1998, brother. I hate to break it to y'all. He left in 1998. That Super Bowl wasn't until 3 years later. I mean, I hate to break it to everybody. So, I mean, we can try to discredit Bill Belichick all we want. That was his team. He won with that. That was his team. He won in 2001. That was 3 to 4 years after Bill Parcells left. So he was already gone. And furthermore, he went 5-11 the year before. So we
Mm-hmm.
can't discredit him just because, oh yeah, those were Bill Parcells guys. Have we gone so far into sports that we're going to discredit everything someone does? Have we gone that far? That's just like saying, hey, in 1994, when the San Francisco 49ers won their Super Bowl, oh, that was Bill Walsh's team. Bill Walsh had been gone for 5 years. The only Super Bowl that we can really say that was somebody else's team was the 2002 Bucks. That was
Yes.
Tony Dungy's
That
team.
that that was yeah, that was Dungy's
That
team.
was
Yeah.
Dungy's team. And you
Not
notice,
John Gruden's.
and you notice the Kim Kardashian of the NFL didn't do anything after that in John Gruden. So let's kill all that noise when it comes to Bill Belichick. Oh, that was Bill Parcells' team. Bill Parcells didn't even have a say in drafting those players that came out. Remember, he came out in the press and said about Bob Kraft, if they want you to make the meal, at least they can let you pick some of the groceries. Am I correct in that assumption? He said that live
Absolutely.
on the press
He,
conference. And
he
that's
did
why,
say that. He
yeah,
definitely
and
did
that's why
say
he ended up leaving later on, right after that Super Bowl. So, and that was in 1996
yeah, yeah.
when,
When we beat
yeah,
them with
when the
Brett
Pack
Favre.
beat him and he retired and he got gone almost a year later. So that was
Hmm.
Bill Belichick team that won the Super Bowl. That was Bill Belichick's dynasty. And he brought and make the thing about it is he got rid of one of his greatest players and still won. Remember, after the first Super Bowl, he got rid of Lawyer Malloy.
Hmm.
So that was Bill Belichick's team. We can't discredit anything Bill Belichick done. It happens to every coach. It happened to Andy Reid. He cycled out in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to Tom Landry. He cycled out. It's part of the game. We see all the time legendary coaches get cycled out. We saw the great Vince Lombardi cycle out. And when he went to Washington, it led them to their first winning season. Well, he had a 500 season, but that's neither here nor there. He had to leave Green Bay, and he was arguably the most legendary coach. Hence, there's a damn trophy named after him, the Lombardi Trophy.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is
And
Statue and
probably
everything.
had he not passed, he probably would have took that team over the hump.
yes, he would have, and instead, a couple other coaches end up coaching that team. But he had some great players on that team in Washington Commanders back then. But this is just a vicious cycle of the game. I think that he's going to end up probably I think he's going to end up in an NFC South team. That's what they're saying. Unfortunately, he may end up with my Atlanta Falcons, but I mean, and I have mixed emotions about that.
Mm.
But we'll
Mm-mm.
see how that goes because they're saying either Atlanta or the Saints at this point. So I have mixed
Wait,
emotions
whoa,
about,
whoa, 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 whoa. Time.
huh?
This Belichick we talking about?
Yes, they're talking about him going to either the Saints or the Falcons at this point, which I don't recommend neither one at this point, but that's neither here nor there. I mean,
No,
You know something? You
the
know
smart
what?
move was for him to go to the Chargers.
You know
yeah,
what, champ? Just look, I knew you was gonna have positive
That wouldn't
things to
work.
say, but this is the part where I kind of wanted all five of us to all form some fingers and then ball it up and then knock out everything that Bill Belichick stood for and everything. But I know you're an honest man, and I know you're gonna keep it cordial. Me, on the other hand, I'm not. But at the same time, he is gonna go down as the greatest coach in NFL history.
and
Just
believe
like
it or
Nick
not,
Saban is gonna go down as the greatest coach in college football history. It's
and
just
believe
I
it or
kind
not,
of I,
if he
I
comes
what
to
I
Atlanta, it's better than what we had. He's better than Arthur Smith, even on his worst day. So I mean, I'm just being honest with you. If you really want to be
He
honest
ain't
with you,
lying.
it's better
Yeah,
than
He
but
what.
not
you
lying at
ain't lying.
all.
You ain't lying
yeah,
about
but
that.
but champ, at the same time, some
But
people
at the
may look
same
at it and
time,
say, "Is that really that much to brag about?" Considering the fact that Arthur Smith was just that bad as far as utilizing all those embarrassment of riches you had in Drake London and Kyle Pitts and now Bijan Robinson. And plus, you're gonna have to make a serious decision about whether you want a quarterback because
Yeah,
you can't
mm,
stick it with Desmond Ritter and you can't stick it with Taylor Heineke. Now Belichick on the defensive side, Atlanta was great defensively this
mm-hmm.
season. What were they ranked? Top five, top
It was
10 in the NFL?
ranked top 10. The only team that scored, the only defense that held teams to less scoring was the Baltimore Ravens. So we was right up there with Baltimore as far as scoring defense was concerned and holding
mm,
teams to touchdowns. So I mean, I think he'll
right.
do a great job as far as the defensive side of the ball. My concern is who is he bringing with him to be on the offensive side if, and that's a
That's
huge if he
but
comes.
but, but that's the problem
If he
right there.
bring one of them bozos that he had, man, like that came out of that
But
pool of
leave
coaches.
but leave that's I was gonna get into that. Knowing Belichick, he may probably get Bill O'Brien or hell for you, Josh McDaniels. And we
Oh
saw
God.
what happened with Josh McDaniels in Denver, and we
Oh
saw
no.
what happened with Josh McDaniels with the Raiders.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
So I think for
Well,
Belichick, what he should do, he should retire.
Definitely.
You already won 6 Super Bowls. Regardless if you surpass Don Shula's record or not, he has 302 wins. I think Don Shula has what 347.
347.
So doesn't matter to me if he breaks the record or not. He's still gonna be considered the GOAT as far as head coaches. Do I want him in Washington? And even though I don't see him going to Washington, no, thank God, because I feel like if you acquire him, if you're Washington, it's kind of like how the Knicks did with Phil Jackson. Yeah, he's won Super Bowls. Yeah, he's considered the GOAT. But at the same time, you're not only asking him to be the head coach, you're also going to ask him to be president of football operations. That means you're going to allow
Operations.
him to have final say. So,
Right.
and you're going to and Belichick wants a ton of money.
And,
So
and,
we
and
weren't
champ
going to
the-
do that.
and champ to add on to that, listen, you basically bit everybody in here's head off about picking up Kyler Murray. And I know how you felt about that, man. And I know how you felt about that cap situation that y'all basically just got out of. You got to ask yourself, as bad as Arthur Smith is, bro, and I know he's been bad. I don't think nothing's been worse than Brandon Staley, but I know Arthur Smith has been bad. Do you really want Bill Belichick coming in there and running your organization and being the mouthpiece, the end all be all as far as decisions and everything, and because you already know he's gonna come in there making demands and making and decisions that that you and probably most of Atlanta Falcons of law probably won't approve of once he's getting done making these decisions. You got to ask yourself that, champ, man. Like I don't know. Like had it been me, it's a hell no.
To be honest with you, I want, and I hate to do this to you, PSP. I want Eric Bieniemy, and I want a quarterback.
That's
And
fine
my
with me.
and my thing is this: you could bring in any coach that you want to. Hell, you could bring in Don Shula. You could bring in the greatest offensive coordinator. You could bring in anything that you would like. But if you don't have the right quarterback, you 88 not the gate already. We don't have a quarterback. Can you imagine? And the thing is, and I think I said this on the talk. Can you imagine what would have happened if we would have went on here and gotten Lamar Jackson? Now the
Which
only
Arthur blank.
yes, and not only
Man,
that,
listen,
and
y'all
the
was in
thing
the
was
Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, definitely,
yes,
definitely.
but guess what? You ran off the franchise quarterback that was an MVP and won a Super Bowl in order to pursue Deshaun Watson, but you didn't want Lamar Jackson for 2 first-round picks. You was gonna have to give up the farm for Deshaun Watson. So I don't see the difference. But you ran off Matt Ryan, who is the greatest quarterback in Falcons history, in order to try to pursue Deshaun Watson, but you couldn't give Lamar Jackson a contract and give up 2 first-round picks. Can you imagine Lamar with that defense and those
Nope.
weapons that we have on offense right now? The
Oh my
only glaring
god, that would just
hole,
be nasty.
no, the only glaring hole right now that would have been different if we hadn't gotten Lamar Jackson is that we wouldn't have been able to draft Bijan Robinson. But
That's it.
as you saw, Tyler Aguilar, he's the workhorse of that backfield. You saw him get 1,000 yards during his rookie season just last year. So it wouldn't have been much of a stretch to give this young man a contract. You just had Jesse Bates, who just made second team All Pro, was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Can you imagine Lamar Jackson and those weapons with that defense in the NFC South?
Oh my
He probably
god.
would have been the first
You guys,
seed.
so Jay, let me ask you a question. How many wins if Lamar was with the Falcons? How many wins do you
We
think?
would have won at
11?
least 12 because we would have ran the table in the division. We would have ran the
No,
table in the division, so at least 12 to
I
13
think
wins.
y'all would have mouthed the division easily, bro. As
I was
trash
about to
as
say
that
11,
division
but
is, bro.
All right, guys, we got to move on because we got to talk about another head coach.
My bad.
No, it's all good. Pete Carroll, he is out of the Seattle Seahawks. Unfortunately, we wish we had our boy Brandon. For those who may not know, Brandon from the block, go check out his podcast every Monday night, 7 p.m. The Football One on YouTube, as well as Wednesday nights as well, 9 p.m. Pete Carroll is out after 14 years with the Seattle Seahawks. He finishes with a 137, 89, and 1 record, 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl victory, of course, the second Super Bowl, worst play call in Super Bowl history. Um, I was a little more shocked with Pete Carroll getting fired than Bill Belichick because we saw with Bill Belichick after 4 years without Brady, he hasn't been the same. Pete Carroll, what he did with Geno Smith in the aftermath of moving on from Russell Wilson was very impressive. Um, the Seattle Seahawks failed short of expectations compared to last season. They missed the playoffs. What's next for Pete Carroll? Could it be on another NFL team? It's still possible. Or could he go back to college football? Because before he took the job with the Seattle Seahawks, he was great during his time in USC. And I think, Champ, you and I, we've had this conversation. I think he would do a better job with the NIL deals and the transfer portal compared to what he had to deal with in the past. Remember Reggie Bush with the Heisman situation? And for the record, folks, please give Reggie Bush back his Heisman because if Johnny Manziel is going to sit there and admit, yeah, I was paid for signing autographs, then to me, it's Reggie Bush should keep his Heisman. But I think any college football team would love to have Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll still has what it takes. The young guys, he loves it there, vice versa. The college atmosphere, he's familiar with that. If he still wants to be an NFL head coach or if he wants to retire, that's up to him. What says you, champ?
To be honest with you, he's already in an advisory role on that team. I'm not so sure if he's going to fulfill it all the way. I'm not so sure if he's going to fulfill it all the way, but I digress. I think he would be a good college coach at this point. I think you're only going to have him for like 4 to 5 years at this point because, not to age shame anybody, but he's kind of up there in age. So you might get him for 5, maybe 6 years. I don't think you're going to get him any longer than that. And I think he would do great in the NIL. I mean, it would really depend on which team that he goes to because I'm going to just be real with you. When he was with USC, you cannot buy that type of publicity that he had in the city of Los Angeles. And USC back then was the toast of the town. Because remember during that time, there was no pro team in LA that was really dominating. Shaq was gone. They was rebuilding in Los Angeles. The Dodgers were not that good. There was no other pro football team in Los Angeles at that time. So really, USC and Pete Carroll dominated those headlines at this point. So, and I think he would do a marvelous job if he did that under the table at USC and got that kind of talent at USC. I can just imagine what he can do in NIL. But there is evidence of coaches going to pro and then coming back to college, and they're not necessarily successful at a point. We saw that happen with John Robinson. He went from USC to the LA Rams and then went back to USC. He was a pro coach at that point, and now you're so used to coaching older men rather than younger men. But I think it's the same thing. I think Pete Carroll knows how to manage ego. He knows how to manage ego and feed ego versus a lot of other coaches. They can't really handle those. They can't be really the leaders of men. That's how come they succeed in college, but not necessarily in the NFL. But I really think that he would do a great job at the college program. They have to come to grips that they're not going to have him long term. But I would recommend if he's just looking for just one last hurrah, I would recommend he stays in the pro game. Like I said, he's only going to have him 3 to 4, maybe 5 years. I think he should stay in pro. And hey, depending on what happens next year, with Dennis Allen, hey, New Orleans, get on the phone and call him.
I wouldn't discount that. Pete Carroll is 72 years old as we speak. So it's up to him whether he wants to retire, whether he wants to continue coaching or whatnot. But Harrison, your thoughts?
I was pretty shocked. I did not see that one coming. I mean, bro, bro, I got no words. I'm just shocked right now. Is it crazy to say that he might pull a Sean Payton?
Hmm. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised given the fact that he's accomplished as a college football and an NFL head coach. He could take a little time off to himself. Some NFL team could be desperate, and Pete Carroll wants to be in a place where you can offer him a ton of money. He wants probably that 15, 18, $20 million ballpark for a head coach per year, kind of like how Sean Payton is right now.
But yeah, I mean, if he does a Sean Payton, what team should he go to?
I think it has to be to a team where they can compete right away because given his age, you know, only time will tell how long will he last. So it has to be on a playoff caliber team, a good enough quarterback, and where he has final say. So
Well,
that's how I
but
look
hear
at
me
it.
out here. Imagine Pete Carroll with the Chargers.
Mm.
Yes, but with
Ew.
with the Spanos family, they're notoriously known for being cheap, and they may look at Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. So
True. But at the end of the day, it was really shocking. But hopefully, he's gonna get back on his feet to a different organization probably in the future. Right
Leaf, what are your thoughts about Pete Carroll?
Wow. I'm gonna be sort of positive with this one because what he was able to do with Geno Smith, um, definitely definitely was on the up and up, man. I give him kudos for that. Anything in the LOB era, as you already know, I don't know how we lost to that team. To be honest with you, the day that we did, Eddie Lacy just ate too much cheese and decided to show up 75 pounds overweight,
Well,
something like that, man. But I
well,
mean,
I actually saw that game,
listen.
Lee. Blame your boy Boston.
Well, listen. A lot of people want to put the blame on him. A lot of people want to put the blame on Ha Ha, man. But listen, and the reality is that that
Oh,
game.
I forgot about him. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Ha Ha had missed a play or whatever. So I mean, there was a whole lot of things that went wrong. That LOB era, was legitimate, man, because that defense was so easily the best secondary in the history of this game. There's I don't think there's anything close. Um, and
Mhm.
I think I guess if y'all want to argue, y'all can, man. That's another
That's another
portion, but
story for another day.
yeah, but uh in the words of Bill Belichick, who was the coach for the 2000 Ravens, he said that he and I quote, he said the NFL likes young and cheap, and and he's not neither. And I think the same applies for not just the two coaches that we were talking about prior, but also Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has ran this carousel in the NFL for decades, going back to the '90s when he had his first job, and then in the 2000s going to college football. I think all three of these coaches that we just talked about, I think they had enough. I think they had enough. I think they're gonna go and walk into the sunset and make peace with the careers that they had and everything that was done. Um, I think it's a new day for coaches. A lot of coaches that were assistants for a long time or coordinators for a long time is going to start to get their chance. Obviously, we are all big on Eric Bieniemy. I hope and pray that he gets his chance. But as far as as Pete Carroll goes, I think this is the end. This is the end of the road. And I mean, 70 something years old, man. Do you really feel like going on the sideline and redoing this over and yelling and screaming for plays and going and hiring this coordinator and hiring some other idiot coordinator to run some other stuff, man? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. He's coached some pretty darn good teams in his tenure. When we go back to USC and in that year, the only thing had it not been for Vince Young, I mean, come on, that was a bowl championship, and then obviously the Seahawks in the LOB era. Um, yeah, man. I mean, I think this is the end. This is the end. Just bow out gracefully and take your ass to retirement, man. You out of here.
Trey?
Well, I was more shocked at that than all the other coaches. But when Pete Carroll, as far as UFC days, he would have been 3-time champion had it not been for some fat slob of a running back by the name of Lindale White. As far as he with the LOB, one of the greatest defenses ever assembled. Man, at this point, if I were him, I would just go in the front office, make decisions on players or something. I would not be coaching. I know 72 years old.
All right. I think Pete Carroll, yeah, he's definitely only somebody's gonna offer him an opportunity. Somebody's going to give him an opportunity, given what he can still do and contribute. He definitely did a lot as far as helping out drafting Russell Wilson. Russ, regardless, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of that has to do with Pete Carroll because we've seen where he is in Denver, and that hasn't panned out well. To Trey's point, yes, you definitely assembled the Legion of Boom defense with Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, um, Beast Mode. Let's not forget Beast Mode and what he did there. Of course, who can forget that playoff game against the New Orleans Saints when he stiffed arm Tracy Porter, one of the greatest rushing touchdowns in playoff history, still resonates to this day. I think anything can happen with Pete Carroll, and I think he'll be just fine. So, you know, only time will tell. But anyway, I really wanted to talk about this subject.
Okay.
Did y'all no did y'all see Stephen A. Smith on his podcast Wednesday when he talked about Jason Whitlock?
Uh,
You
I
you
did. I
you
did
think
watch
I
like a
didn't
little
when
bit
I
of the
did?
clips.
Oh,
Leaf,
Man,
everybody saw it.
we're gonna talk about that, but I just want to warn you. Let's be careful. Leaf, to quote you, model citizen. You can curse, but just be careful.
I'm gonna go first to try to get it out of the way. I think Stephen A. Man, he took off. He took off like in a lot of cases than many. And the look on Champ face, man, says it all, man. Because that man, like, he literally took off. I mean, a lot of people, not just people that watch, think Jason Whitlock is a whole lot of things under the sun. But I mean, he took off on this dude like never before. And I think a lot of anti Jason Whitlock people were waiting for somebody to take off on Jason Whitlock. I just didn't think that they thought that Stephen A. Smith was going to be the one to pull that trigger. And the way that he pulled that trigger, man, like, listen, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of words that he said that you don't say, and when you're in that echelon of I guess a echelon of sports celebrity in that professionalism. But it was on YouTube and it was on his page, and I guess and it wasn't on ESPN. So I guess I don't know if ESPN is going to do a thing about it.
It was on his podcast, and Stephen A. Smith said that the executives from ESPN, his family, even his pastor, begged him not to do this.
Right, right. So I mean, and if it listen, if his family and his pastor and ESPN execs begging him not to do this, and he still went on and pulled the trigger, that just goes to show you that Stephen A. was pretty triggered about something. And if anybody could take you there, it's Jason Whitlock. And the thing is, he has, and with the things that he has said over the years pertaining towards athletes or whatever the case may be, he has definitely gone off the deep end and jump off the top rope with a lot of his comments, man. If you thought what, listen, for anybody that's gonna watch this, if you thought what I was saying was crazy, Jason Whitlock literally takes the cake in terms of like his criticism and I'm using that word lightly. I'm using a light term. His criticism of athletes of color. And
Mm-hmm.
and and I'll be honest with you, man. I
No,
think
Leaf, you
we
spitting.
all
You
can,
spitting.
and I think we all can admit that he has been a lot of things under the sun. And I'm not going to say right now, but Stephen A. It was triggered, and he definitely pulled the trigger, and he let his gun go off for sure, for sure. So I mean, I'm a pass the rock, man, but I like to think what all y'all think about it because that was kind of woof, woof.
Trey,
That was some heat right there.
Trey, you want to go?
Yeah, but man, eh, Stephen A. Dog, I was actually happy that Stephen A. did that because I said, finally somebody is sticking it to Jason Whitlock. And you saw right after Stephen A did it, right? Everybody who did like Jason Whitlock came in a circle and said, "Let me get a piece of them." You saw Shannon Sharp, I think I don't know his last name, but I know he used to be on ESPN.
Dan Lebertar.
Yeah, Dan Levitar,
Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill. It is like, bruh, it was no love for Jason Whitlock, none, and that's what he get.
All
It's
right.
like, bro,
I'm sorry, Trey. Go ahead.
oh, I'm done.
No, no. If you want to continue, man, go on, man.
Oh no, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. All right. All right.
I just had to get that
Harrison.
last little bit out.
No, it's all good.
Dude, I don't want to say about that. I have no comments. It's just
All right. If you
I
don't want
got
to say it,
I can't.
champ,
No
I'm a,
comments.
champ. I'm gonna let you go, and then I'll have the floor. Go ahead, champ.
Okay, I won't take long. This will only take 60 seconds. The countdown is now. I've never seen how you just badmouth your own peers. Remember how he badmouthed Stuart Scott?
Rest his soul. Yes, yes.
And then it later came out,
Man,
and when it later came out after his death, and he was saying how much Stuart Scott meant to the industry, and everybody knew how disingenuous it was. Remember when he said something about Serena Williams' body
Yeah, he
and how
fat
he
shamed
body
her.
shamed and how he body shamed her? Remember how he came out and just said some of the most egregious things in the world about certain athletes, and it just didn't start recently. Remember, he was doing the same thing to Derek Thomas and some of the guys back in Kansas City when he was at the Kansas City Star.
Star.
When you burn bridges the way he has, you are a cancer at a certain point. And I don't understand, how do you have time to go at your peers like you do? But yet, I never see you going at Dan Patrick. I never see you going at Rich Eisen. I never see you going at Skip Bayless. I never see you going at anybody else other than your peers, your other peers, we will say. So for you to keep doing that over and over and shaming your own people and trying to bring them down, who are you to tell Stephen A that he didn't write his own memoirs? That's
Mm.
just like you writing a book, PSP, and I come out and say PSP didn't write that. Who are you to tell me I didn't write that? Is that any of your business, even if I did? You got that much time on your hands to go research about another person that has done so much for the industry that you are just that jealous?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the thing was, you had a chance in order to do this. You had a chance. Remember when we watched Dan Lebertar earlier today, he had to vouch for him in order to in order for anybody to work with him. Dan Lebertar, Dan Lebertar had to go out on a limb in order to get anybody to work with. He begged him to vouch for him.
Is he the worst? Is Whitlock the worst out of everybody that we've heard in the media? I mean, like, because it's
I
been
mean,
some real
as
creepy
far
stuff.
as
yeah,
as far as bashing a lot of the black athletes, as far as bashing the black journalists, as far as black bashing is I mean, not just because of the every you have the right to criticize as a journalist. We all
Right.
get on here and we say this guy's had a bad game. We all get on here and say, hey, this guy's a turnover machine. But when it goes outside of sports and you start making personal attacks on someone, that's when you're taking it too far. And remember, somebody will check you in later on if you keep. I mean, we've seen a lot of cases. You saw what happened with Jim Rome and Jim Everett. He brought him
Oh
on the
yeah.
show. Yeah, he brought him on the show. He told him to stop calling him tricks. Next thing you know, Jim Rome on the floor.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
That I do remember.
these athletes were checked, and then now it's even more politically incorrect. It's even more. These guys are not as politically correct as the Jim Everett was. Some of these guys will come and check you in if
Oh
you
yeah.
get what.
All right.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But I think
and
Whitlock
over and over.
and
It's after a
I think
while,
Whitlock has like literally
yes, after a
crossed.
while, what we say in the army, what we used to say in the army, what you do becomes a pattern, and the patterns reflect your behavior. And if your patterns reflect your behavior reflects your personality. And if all that is a reflection of you, then you can't say everybody else is a problem. Like we say down south, everybody ain't lying. If somebody comes out and say, "Hey, you did this," okay, one person could be lying. Another person come out and say, "Hey, you this," two people could be lying. But when you have every single person that you have ever worked with in the history of the workforce and say, "This dude
Say,
slime, he's scum," everybody's not lying.
And I would say, man, like, listen, anytime anybody in that profession calls you out of your name like the way that Stephen A does, man, like you have like really he has been what Dave Chappelle has called what Charlie Murphy has called a habitual line stepper. That's who he's been. He's been stepping that line
I agree.
for way too long, and I think somebody finally got tired. Man, it just so happened to be the person that a lot of us don't really is not really too fond of neither. But
Not at all.
yeah.
Casual. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Yo, what's good?
We just talking about Stephen A. Smith's comments on Jason Whitlock. Did you check out the interview? And if you did, what are your thoughts?
I've actually I've been keeping up with uh both fronts. So Jason Whitlock's Cat Williams stream where he basically correlated Stephen A to one of the examples I think, or one of the things that Cat Williams was alluding to. He sort of just puts Stephen A in that box. I saw the Stephen A stream, and there's a slew of other streams. I urge you guys check out Lamont from FYF's stream where he basically did a play by play and like actually did a lookup of all of this evidence that Jason Whitlock said he had. And my thing is, I'm gonna try to challenge you on 30 seconds rather than 60 seconds. I'll do this in 30 seconds. You started now. It amazes me how people in the media are so quick to get to want to take a take and end up running with that take that they're willing to go against all the morals in which they have. And so the fact that as a black man, you're critiquing another black man on things that are just unequivocally true. Stephen A. came from a area of where in New York where it's like 1% gets to be as successful as him. And not only was he able to make it out, but he was able to also become a global like phenom where, and he uses that to be able to upbring the rest of our community. Let's not even talk about the uh, uh, the donations and the funding that he has given to his former college, Winston-Salem State. I think it Winston-Salem State.
Yes, sir.
Winston-Salem State,
Yes, sir.
HBCU.
Yes, and so he that like that's just one example of the many donations and funding and just energy and time that he puts in into our black community. And for you to lie so that you could get a takeoff about how Stephen A is falsifying his upbringing, even if that is true. I feel like from a core mental value stance, there's something wrong with Jason Whitlock to the fact that you feel like that was such a big problem that you had to prioritize that over some of the bigger issues that are going on in sports. In sports. Hell, there's bigger issues he could have pointed to in the brand in which he worked at, which was Fox, in the brand in which he worked at in ESPN. There are some bigger issues in that than one individual in Stephen A. Smith. And that is the bigger problem here. People in media, and that includes us, are so quick to want to get a takeoff that they don't do their due diligence of doing any research. And two, they don't care to actually sit back and think, well, is this even worth my time?
And
All right,
one quick thing, PSP,
go ahead.
of all things, you bash all of these African American athletes and you bash all of these African American journalists. Yet you have the nerve to sit there with Brett Favre of all
Mm-hmm.
people,
I
of
was gonna
all
steal that.
people, and talk about Deion Sanders. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for doing that. And Deion and Brett Favre is accused of stealing millions from
Welfare
the people of
funds
yes,
in
from
the
stealing
poorest
millions
state in
from
this
the
country.
poorest state in the not only in the South, but in the entire United States of America. But yet you deem it fit to bash every African American journalist and every African American athlete. You ought to be ashamed, and not just on an athletic level or a journalistic critique. You bash them on a personal level. You should be ashamed. That's it for me.
That also reminds me. I just want to give a quick shout out because I was the first one, and we made a YouTube short over this. I was the one that pointed at Ticket TV and said we need to hold him accountable for some of the outlandish takes that he made doing the number 3 for Oklahoma City Thunder comments and how he didn't do his due diligence. I want to be the first one to also applaud him because that was a great interview where he forced Jason Whitlock to answer some of the toughest questions that everybody was wondering. He did not hesitate to ask them. He put Jason Whitlock in a stance where he had to answer those questions, and just kudos to Ticket TV for that.
All right, let me go in. I loved everything Stephen A. Smith said. Now he begged. Now his family, executives at ESPN, his pastor did not want him to talk about this. I loved every second, every minute Stephen A. Smith spewed. Champ, I want to look at Champ because we've had conversations about Jason Whitlock. I said Jason Whitlock is as real as Vanilla Ice's bio. Jason Whitlock is a joke. None of what he said about Stephen A. Smith with his memoir does not surprise me, not one bit, because this is his stick. This is who he is. And Champ brought up all the receipts that I was going to bring about Jason Whitlock,
Oh, sorry.
such as no, this is good. You stole my energy, but that's all right. I am not surprised at all with what Jason Whitlock had to say. This is the same Jason Whitlock who called Kobe Bryant the most fraudulent superstar we have ever seen. But you suddenly wanted to show him love once Kobe, God rest his soul, passed away. This is the same Jason Whitlock back in 2009, as Champ put it. He fat shamed Serena Williams. Fat shamed Serena Williams. This is the same Jason Whitlock who said in 2017 when he was on Fox Sports 1, when he went on Colin Cowherd's The Herd, and then later on his own show, Speak for Yourself, Now Speak, he said racism is an issue, but it's primarily for the poor. It's not LeBron James's issue. This was at the time when LeBron James's home was vandalized, when someone spray painted the N-word on his front gate, to which Chris Broussard had a serious problem with what Jason Whitlock had to say. Go look it up on YouTube to see for yourself. Jason Whitlock, the reason why he now works at Glenn Beck's The Blaze, that should tell you all you need to know. And the reason why people from the audience of Glenn Beck's The Blaze or Outkick, the reason why they love Jason Whitlock so much, he is a black person with a voice or a platform that will spew the type of stuff that they want to hear. Jason Whitlock has spent an entire history criticizing, shaming black athletes. LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick. The list goes on and on and on. When
Deion
Champ went
Sanders.
But there's so many more. Hold on, casual. Let me finish because I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say.
No, no, no. Cook.
Jason Whitlock is full of shit. I tried. I'm trying. Jason Whitlock is a piece of shit. Like I said, champ, he's as real as Vanilla Ice's bio. He is a joke. He is an embarrassment. He is a disgrace to media. The only person that has come to Jason Whitlock's defense since Stephen A. Smith attacked him is one Sage Steele.
Typical.
Not surprising at all. If you look at what Jamel Hill,
And what did she do?
hold on, Trey, hold on, let me finish now. If you look at what Jamel Hill, if you look at what Mike Hill, if you look at what all the other journalists had to say about Stephen A. Smith's comments, they did not come to Jason Whitlock's defense. Everything that Stephen A. Smith said was true. Go back to an article. He even showed a picture of Jason Whitlock's face going back to an article from Deadspin in 2015 when Jason Whitlock with the undefeated, right, champ? Young writers
Mm-hmm.
refused to work with them, including ESPN's Howard Bryant, Jamel Hill, and Stephen A. Smith. The same Jason Whitlock who claimed Stephen A. Smith couldn't even write his own damn memoir. Where's the evidence or proof that you have to back that up? I'm sorry, Chad. Do you want to add on to that?
No, go ahead. Continue cooking. I'm putting myself on mute. I want you to cook this.
Jason Whitlock is a joke, folks. And this is
Doing a
why
good
he is
job, by
not
the
taken
way, Andy.
seriously. He is an embarrassment to black people. And I know Chris Broussard. He lives in the same town, same area I live in, South Orange. As Stephen A. Smith said on his podcast, Chris Broussard, for those who may not know, God-fearing man, loves the Lord, wears the Lord on his sleeve. He even said on his podcast, Chris Broussard didn't want to deal with him. Rob Parker doesn't want to deal with him. A lot of people in the media do not want to work with Jason Whitlock. He is not hated. He is despised. He is full of it, which is why Stephen A. Smith went on the record calling him a fat bastard, calling him a POS, saying, he even said, if Jason Whitlock has a funeral, there ain't gonna be too many pallbearers showing up to his funeral. He even went far, he even went even further. Wrap your arms around your soul. He called him the devil. And Jason Whitlock, and let me tell you, I know that Jason Whitlock is just only doing this and getting attention for this. Some people may say what Stephen A. Smith did by responding, he shouldn't have to, because why waste your time and energy? But I loved it. Because I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith on a lot of things. I didn't agree with what he said about Colin Kaepernick saying that he's interested in being a martyr. I didn't agree with the comments he said about Shohei Ohtani at the time. But in this particular situation, I loved it. Because far too long, Stephen A. Smith didn't say anything. But he finally reached a point where enough is enough. It's like a person at school that is constantly getting bullied by the bully. And the victim finally has had enough and decided to take retribution.
I don't even want to
No,
waste
no,
no
no,
more time on this clown.
leave. Let me finish, leave. I love this about Stephen A. Smith. Because Stephen A. Smith finally had enough. I'm glad that he said it, regardless of what the executives of ESPN, regardless of what his family or his pastor may say. There comes a point where enough is enough. And there comes a point in which you got to say what exactly how you feel. So I don't have a problem with what Stephen A. Smith had to say as it pertains to Jason Whitlock. I hope people understands and realizes this is who he is. He has a history. Journalists, columnists, they don't hate him. They despise him because they know deep down inside he's full of shit. That's all I got to say.
Couldn't have said it, brother.
put him in the casket, close it.
Damn, I wish I had my cooking. I wish I had like the cooking emoji. I could be able to put that. That was,
I
but
wish
he,
I
he was
could I
cooking,
wish I
man.
could have done a better job articulating it, but I knew at some point I was going to talk about this. I'm glad I finally talked about this. I'm just telling y'all how I feel about Jason
I think we
Whitlock. I
wasted
think
enough time
no,
on
no,
that
no. Oh,
clown.
leave. I just think Jason Whitlock, like I said, is a scum of the earth. To quote Roland Martin, because he went on Vlad TV and he talked about people like Jason Whitlock and Candace Owens. He talked about certain people like Jason Whitlock, Candace Owens, and Kanye West. He quoted Denzel Washington from the movie American Gangsters. Simple Simon motherfuckers. And there is no pure, simple Simon motherfucker than Jason Whitlock. Bottom
Gotta,
I'm
line.
not. I'm not even
gotta
gonna lie to
stop
you.
letting these dudes rewrite history, man. So
I'm
So
not. I'm not even gonna lie to you though. I want to ask y'all a question.
make it quick, Leaf,
Does it
because we
make
got
it?
football stuff
Oh
to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
yeah. It'll be real quick. I just want to ask a question. Does it bother you guys just like a little bit? Like makes you a little uncomfortable the fact that it wasn't until Stephen A. after 10 years of him like sort of just letting this blow past that everybody else just came out the woodworks as soon as he finally said something. Does that not concern you? Because that means that he's been doing this for a while, and everybody just sort of been accepting it.
I get
Jason
it.
Whitlock.
Well, to answer
Yes,
that,
yes,
I
yes.
think it
Whitlock.
concern, yeah, yeah, for Whitlock, yeah, but I mean, it's not as concerning, man. Because a lot of them has pushed agendas in some sort of way, but none of them have done to the extent of Jason Whitlock, and I think at the end of the day, he finally told the line, and somebody just basically like went nuclear on him. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that was basically like the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess, so to speak. I mean, who knows?
Who
I don't even
knows?
want to continue to talk about this clown, man. Let's get to this football.
All right, let's talk about some NFL playoffs.
Oh
Something
yeah.
that Leaf wants to talk about. I know a lot of people want to talk about. And Cashwell,
Oh
you don't have
shit!
to. Cashwell, you don't have to give your opinion. But needless to say,
Read my
we all
chat.
know who
Read my
you're
chat.
rocking with.
Read my chat. Read my
No,
chat.
we already read your chat. We
Read
already
your
Yeah.
know
chat.
who you're thinking of.
No,
We
no,
don't
that's what
need.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Anybody that don't know, just read the chat.
Yeah.
That's why I'm. Yeah, that's why I am. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in a little bit.
All
He's
right, yeah.
picking Tom Brady. That's it.
No. Anyway, let's talk about some NFL playoff picks. Some really good games Saturday. First one on NBC, 4:30 p.m. You got the Cleveland Browns on the road against the Houston Texans. Now, Cleveland earlier this year beat the Houston Texans, but mind you, that was without C.J. Stroud. That was also without Nico Collins. That was also without other pieces. The Cleveland Browns are 11-6 this season. Kevin Stefanski, in my opinion, is coach of the year, considering all the injuries and what he's had to deal with this season. The fact that Joe Flacco is playing this well, and I don't know if he's 39 years old because I know he's born January 85,
He's like 37.
but 30, he was born in 85.
Yeah, he's
I
2 years
think.
older than me. He's 39, brother.
Yeah, he's
Is he 30?
39.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm
yeah, he
tripping.
39. He
Yeah, he's
wait,
39.
hold on, wait. He no, that's he 38. He cause I'm born in 88, so I'm about
He's
38, 35, 39, somewhere around there.
But anyway, it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be a great game, but I got Cleveland winning this one. Champ, who you got?
I don't think people are talking about this enough. Y'all do realize this is a revenge game, right?
Yes.
It's
Does
supposed to
anybody?
be for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. The team that you helped build by trading every pick that you had in order to get Deshaun Watson is now going to come back to hunt you. It's going to come back to hunt you because you beat them without C.J. Stroud. And if we can all agree on one thing, he's becoming very, very quickly one of the most accurate passers in the NFL right now. One of the most, just as a rookie. We haven't seen this accuracy from a rookie in a very, very long time since Andrew Luck, arguably even Dan Marino. So we haven't seen this in a while. So I think that, hey, the team that Cleveland built takes revenge and gets Cleveland up out of there. Flacco Magic runs out tomorrow.
So you got Houston.
I'm taking Houston. It's a game at home. CJ Stroud is playing. and they have Nico Collins at the helm. I think they take them this time.
All right. You don't think the concern or loss of Tank Dell is going to hurt them as well as the defense of Houston side dealing with Cleveland's offense?
I don't think that's going to be a factor as much because the thing is, it's a magical run. But as we say down south, magic is only an illusion.
All right. Harrison.
Oh man. Oh, by the way, I remember I said that the Rams and the Packers are gonna make the playoffs. Remember I said that, PSP?
You did say that, man. Harrison. Actually glad you actually said that. The co-signing because after our losses to the Giants and the Buccaneers, I was basically like ready to tear up this room. Like, be honest with you, I was ready to destroy this whole shit. Like,
Oh,
But
please do
continue,
not.
Harrison.
Okay, my fault, my fault. But I just want to do that because people said I have the worst takes, but here we are now. But Packers is at Houston. CJ Stroud is back. Man, this is gonna be a battle. It's not gonna be a dogfight, but this is gonna be a battle. High scoring affair. Joe Flacco, 30. By the way, he is 38 years old. Bro's playing like he's fucking 28 on that fucking field right now. I mean, when you got a rookie named C.J. Stroud, second overall pick in the draft, I'm going, Champ, Mr. Champ, I'm going with you, brother. I'm going with the Houston Texans on this one. 28-20, Houston.
All right. Trey.
Well, my pick for Browns, I'm going to go with Houston. And for all my people out there, I know it was messed up the way they did it and everything, the way they did the Deshaun Watson, but it looks like Houston made the right decision.
I it's my go.
Yeah, go ahead, Leaf.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Well, I think the Texans have had a marvelous year. Shout out to D'Amico Ryans. I think of it's he doesn't get coach of the year, it probably will be a coach from the Browns.
Tim Stefanski.
More Sabinsky, but I think they showed a lot of grit. They had a lot of talent. Tank Dell, a lot of the guys over there, man. CJ
Mm-hmm.
Stroud just filled in a lot of the blanks. Showed a lot of
Yep.
poise, and it showed a lot of showed a lot of professionalism right out the gate. Played beyond a rookie. He's running away with rookie offensive rookie of the year. Probably is going to be unanimous. It might be unanimous. And he showed a lot of heart, but like we say here, like we say up here in Brooklyn, heart only gets you so far, son.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, they're running into a defense that's chopping at the bit. And a couple of weeks, and when they played this team in the regular season, I kind of wanted C.J. Stroud to sit out because had he did in that game, for the same reason why I think this game is gonna go to the Browns. I think that defense is chopping at the bit, and they're ready to put an end to this C.J. Stroud annoying nuisance that's going on right now, and
Mm.
they are gonna run roughshod on them. That this defense is ready to kill. This is arguably one of the best defenses coming into the playoffs and coming into this playoff weekend, man. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think I got the Browns winning this one probably 20 I want to say 24 to maybe 10
Ooh.
at that. Yeah, so
Man.
I think this defense is ready to hold serve and go in there and take care of the business. I think this one is going to be for Deshaun Watson.
All right. Next game. Dolphins at Chiefs. Kansas City is a 4.5 point favorite, and it's gonna be cold than a motherfucker tomorrow. It's gonna be
It's cold
cold than a motherfucker
outside
tomorrow.
in the month of May.
Champ,
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
gonna wait till y'all get to me. Go ahead, Jim.
go ahead, champ. What's your prediction?
40 degrees in Georgia. But I digress. Had to throw that out there and mess with PSP. Uh, man,
It's 44 in Jersey. Well, go ahead.
but hey, I gotta say this: high-powered offense doesn't go well when you in that snow. And once the Miami teams go past that Mason-Dixon line, it ain't pretty. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
All right. Leaf?
Um, just a quick story before I get into the game. I actually been in Kansas City, man. Like, oh man, the listen. I don't the champ. I don't think you know what cold is, bro. Like, listen, like these states, man, and and I know you're a Georgia man, but listen, it get cold as a bitch, man. Like in some of these other cities and states, man. And Kansas City is no different. And
Mm.
Miami, the Miami Suns, as I've referred to them for most of the year. And Captain Tuna Fish, man, he gonna freeze his balls off out there, man. Like this is gonna be an ass whipping. Because I don't think that they're ready for none of this weather, man. This should probably be. I won't be surprised if this is a shutout, or maybe they leave them on 3-7, man. The Chiefs should win this hand over fist, but I won't be surprised if the game go some type of way because the Chiefs they've had problems of their own, but the Chiefs should win this game, man. It's gonna be cold as a hell, man. I'll be damned if Miami get out of that, man. The Chiefs is winning this.
Trey.
Well, I got the Chiefs. No. Leave, brother. You ain't lying about that cold weather in Kansas City. Oh
I know
Lord,
I
that's
ain't
the
lying.
last. I hope Tyree hit. I hope you got your snow boots on because you're gonna need them, son.
I'm worried about tuna fish too.
I think there are more
Yeah.
problems than those two. But go ahead, Harrison.
Uh, tuna fish. Oh my god. Alrighty. So it's gonna be like windshield like -20.
God
Damn.
damn.
It's I think hold up, if I'm not mistaken, and Champ, I feel like you can agree with me on this. This is probably tied the like probably like the top three coldest games in NFL history. It was between the Seahawks and the Vikings in 2015 when the Vikings had Teddy
Oh
Bridgewater
yeah,
in Seattle with
the
Russell
Blair
Wilson.
Walsh
It was
game.
cold as a motherfucker.
Yeah,
It was
The
so cold
Blair
out
yeah,
there
Walsh
that they could
game.
see their
Yeah.
breaths out there.
yeah, man.
The
And the
Blair
crazy
Walsh
thing
the
was,
Blair Walsh project. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Wide
and
but
corner left.
and the crazy thing about that game, they brought Bud Grant back. He was out there with no sleeves.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that
that yeah.
motherfucker, that is a badass motherfucker right there.
That's a
But
crazy ass
I think it's
motherfucker
gonna
right
be
there.
one of those games like the Seahawks and Vikings back in 2015. I'm gonna probably say low scoring affair. Someone get those fucking boots out there because it's gonna be 12-10 Kansas City.
Hmm.
Mm.
All
Hmm.
right. All right. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. I think the Dolphins, we keep forgetting, they're not that good when it comes to playoff teams. And the only
Oh,
playoff team that they've beaten is the team that Leaf is facing this Sunday, and we'll get into them a little bit later, which is the Dallas Cowboys. But they haven't had one impressive win. And to Champ's point, when you are a warm weather place like a Miami or indoors, and when you have to deal with that cold weather, it's not going to work for you. So it's going to be a long night for the Miami Dolphins at Kansas City. And the only thing they looking forward to is whether after the game, I can't wait to get the hell away from this cold ass weather and head back home to South Beach. That's all I'm going to leave it at that. All right,
Oh,
next game. Steelers at the Bills. This will be on Sunday. Buffalo is a 9.5 favorite, and it's gonna be cold there too. Matter of fact, didn't we hear it's gonna be some snow, like a foot of snow?
Bro, they thinking about moving. It's so cold out there. They thinking about moving the game to Cleveland, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
but
Yeah,
heard
I
it's gonna
about
be
think
that.
I don't think they
it's
should
gonna
do
be
that,
so
man.
cold
You
they
got the
might
home
move.
field advantage. Let them have the home field advantage, man. That's what that snow for, man. That's what it's
And
there
that's
for.
exactly what it's for. We done seen some nasty playoff games weather-wise, man. Like it should be no different now, man.
I
Pittsburgh
feel
should
like
be
they
in the
should,
playing that shit anyway.
champ. I feel like they should go to Georgia or something because
No,
that's
Nah,
that is
and
ugly weather out there.
they should go out west if you ask me.
but Buffalo, Josh Allen comes out and proves it tonight.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo because even though with them turnovers, you still got to deal with Josh Allen's escape talent. I think the big key factor is James Cook. Better run him that football. Better run him that football. Just look at that Dallas Cowboy game as a pure example,
Where's
as
he
well as
from? PSP.
UGA Georgia.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Da, 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 da.
Well, I'll give you that. Since I'm in a good mood and Michigan won the national championship, you did win the national championship back to back years, so I'm gonna give you that type of love as well.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Almost three in a row, almost, man.
Go ahead,
I'm going
Leaf.
Buffalo better win this goddamn game. I said it. I probably have the biggest sympathy for like it's nobody I feel more sympathetic for than Josh Allen, and I keep going back to this game. I go back to that Kansas City game where he left 13 seconds on that clock, and somehow, some way, I knew, and I told somebody that I was watching. I'm like, the Buffalo Bills are not going to win this game. I think Josh Allen gets a chance to rewrite um from that portion on because since that game they made the overtime rule and he basically lost to Cincinnati. So I mean, but he Josh Allen, I think he got a little bit more to prove. Listen, if Lamar Jackson got something to prove, then Josh Allen definitely got something to prove. In this postseason, and he got to start by stomping a mud hole in whatever's left of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, this should be a blowout, easy.
All right, Trey.
Boy, Buffalo. I got Buffalo for this one. Bro, I don't think y'all know how, bro. That home field advantage up there in Buffalo. Oh my god.
I ain't been to Buffalo in years. I don't want to go back.
Bro, those people are gonna be throwing snowballs in that
Man, that
stadium.
shit is frozen tundra. They gonna be throwing ice. That shit is frozen
Ice,
tundra
ice.
in that damn thing.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Go ahead,
Well,
Harrison. Who you got?
I'm I'm sorry. I'm going. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like. I'm gonna probably say. Man, low. I think it's gonna be nothing but running the football. But yeah, I agree. James Cook is gonna have a day, and I think Moon and Najee is gonna have himself their days as well. But I don't see any of these people scoring a touchdown. But give me, you know what? I think it's gonna be closer than us per thing. It's gonna be Buffalo 10-9.
Wow, very low scoring. I mean, I can't go wrong with that. All right, I'm gonna let Leaf go first. Green Bay at Dallas. At Dallas. Dallas is a 7-point favorite. Leaf, the Packers made the playoffs. You feel very strongly about them heading into the playoffs. I'm quite sure you're probably wearing your Green Bay Packers hat right now. Who do you got?
well, I ain't wearing the hat right now, and I don't need to wear the hat on game day because the last 10 times that we played this sorry ass Cowboys team in the playoffs, man, we are 9-1 against this team. It don't matter if we playing in Dallas. It don't matter if we playing in Fort Worth. It don't matter if we playing in Mexico. It don't matter if we playing in Georgia. It don't matter where we playing. We whooping it. We beating their ass. And it's not a damn thing Champ could tell me, and it ain't a damn thing nobody from Texas could tell me. And then the irony of this is that my lady friend is from Texas, and her and most of her family like a Texas Longhorn fans, and they kind of subpar on Dallas Cowboys because the Cowboys been failing them since the 90s, and they're going to continue to fail them just like the 49ers and the rest of this team. I got us to win the whole damn NFC. Screw all of this bullshit. And we're going to run through this shit like a knife through damn butter. And I mean it, man. We're gonna start with Dallas, and when we get finished with them, we're gonna right over to Levi Stadium and deal with the rest of deal with the last bit of that Niners team, man. It starts right here, man. Captain, listen, Green Bay all day. Green Bay in the bowl game, man. Man, I heard it here first. I ain't gonna say this shit no more.
And if they lose, what are you gonna do?
If they lose, I'm gonna just get ready for next season.
You got to take a shot with PSP if they lose.
Ah, man, you know
He
I don't
doesn't
drink like
drink.
you know I don't drink, man. I gotta drive, man. Like
Oh, okay.
my
Oh,
job
okay.
later
My
on.
bad. My fault. I ain't
Yeah,
trying to
But
endanger your moral.
yeah.
it's going to be, but I do know for a fact Leaf does have to owe somebody something. You're probably going to have to hop on Brandon's pod. And if they lose, you're probably going to have to deal with Jay's ass.
Maybe, but I mean, but the Jay is gonna be in the same boat as me because the Steelers are not gonna do anything. And once we win and we defeat the Cowboys, like I know we are, he's gonna be sitting at home. Well, he's probably gonna be invisible and he's not gonna show up
All right.
until the Lakers do something or something. I don't know, but I'm not dealing with him or nobody else, man. I know what the Cowboys about. I know what the Cowboys is like, and I know what we about to do.
Trey?
Well, Green Bay and Dallas all them years. Oh, picked up frustration. This is finally time Dallas get their get back. I'm going with Dallas on this one.
Harrison?
The Green Bay Goudas and the Cowgirls, man. What am I picking?
Harrison,
You,
bro. I'm
leaf,
not
leaf. Hear me out here. Hear me out here.
I'm not in
I'm
the
going
mood
with
for none
Green.
of your shit. You know, I'm letting you know now.
I don't know what the fuck you said, but I'm going with Green Bay on this one. Give me the Cheeseheads. I'm gonna say high scoring affair. Jordan Love's been balling for the past couple games, and I hope
Yes.
that hope they win, go move on to the division round, whoever they play against. Give me J Love for a score of 30-25, Green Bay.
We
Champ.
also got Aaron Jones back, by the way. So
Hmm.
I love J Love.
Mom, this one's for you. 9 all pros. You just can't do it much better than that. Not to mention, you fired the coach that you got to face today in their own stadium. And guess what? It's been almost 7 years since that catch, or what would have been a catch. And there's no Aaron Rodgers to save you at this point. So guess what? You're going down on Sunday at the hands of the Cowboys. Them boys is gonna beat them. That one's for you, Mom.
Damn.
champ, do you think we need Aaron Rodgers, man, to beat these clowns?
Hey, if
Cook,
y'all
leave Cook.
if if the Dallas Cowboys do not win on Sunday and beat the Green Bay Packers, I will take a shot with PSP live next week. Y'all have my word on that. And y'all know I live by the word and I die by the word.
Yes, you
Well, you
do.
might as well get that shot ready now, man, because this shit is over, man. Before it start, we not
Please,
losing to
let's
these
fucking go here, man.
clowns.
The Green Bay's gonna win this game. Let's fucking go.
I have Dallas
Oh,
winning this one, and the pressure is going to be on immensely Mike McCarthy because he's
Mm-hmm.
going up against his old team. I've been very critical of Mike McCarthy since he got the head coaching job from Dallas. I thought
As
he
you
was a pro.
should be.
Hold on, Leaf. Let me finish. I have said about Mike McCarthy, he is nothing more than a product of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. This season, he's taken over the offensive plays since the departure of Kellen Moore. I think he's done a good enough job. Dallas Cowboys should win this one at home because they're the favorites. They've not been good. They've not been great. They have been dominant at home. The only game that they looked good but not so good, in which it was a close one, in which they did get in which it was a robbery at the end, was the Detroit Lions. Dak Prescott, outside of Lamar Jackson, is under the most pressure because this is the Dallas Cowboys' best chance to get to an NFC championship game because you clinched the number 2 seed in the NFC. You won the division. I did not think that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win the division back to back years because when is it that a team in that division has won it back to back years? Jalen Hurts has been struggling taking care of the football. The Eagles are a mess. Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator, has done a bad job so far calling the offensive plays. Dak Prescott has had a very good season. He cut down the turnovers. He's played well. He's played exceptional all this season. And I think that he is going to play well. And Brandon, enough. We don't give a damn. Herbert over Lamar. Enough of that nonsense. But anyway, back to the point with the Packers versus the Cowboys. If the Cowboys cannot make it to the NFC Championship game, Dak Prescott is going to receive a ton of criticism. Mike McCarthy is going to receive a ton of criticism. Jerry won't fire him because at the end of the day, Jerry likes him. So as long as Jerry Jones loves you or likes you, you're still going to be fine. Heck, after all, the man invited him over to his house for beer and nachos. That's all I need to know. So I
Damn.
think for the Cowboys, they should win this one. It's going to be interesting how Jordan Love is going to play. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to put up a lot of points. I think that the defense, Jair Alexander versus CD Lamb, because CD Lamb is in that discussion as arguably top five. And again, I love him because again he played at my school, Oklahoma. He's going to deal with Jair Alexander, the Cowboys offensive line. How are they going to deal? And then you got to look at the other side. The one thing that the Green Bay Packers can do to help out Jordan Love, run that football because the Cowboys have been struggling to stop the run. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, champ. So
Yeah, they
if
can't stop a nosebleed at this point as far as
right,
the running game is concerned.
so if the Cowboys, if the Packers, I'm sorry, have any chance of winning this one, help out Jordan Love, help him out with the running game, and
Tote
then
the
Jordan Love
goddamn pill.
leave. Come on, man, let me finish. And then at the end of the day, let Jordan Love make smart decisions. Don't turn over the ball. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Yes, you got the arm talent. Yes, you got the ability. But at the same time, Dallas Cowboys are good with pickaways. Look at Deron Bland. Look at the rest of the defense. You don't want to make pivotal mistakes, especially for a young quarterback, first year as a starter on the road. So I got the Cowboys in this one. Another interesting game. Rams at Lions, Sunday night, NBC. Detroit is a 3-point favorite. It's going to be the matchup of old teams. Matthew Stafford, former number
Ooh.
one overall pick from your Georgia
Georgia
Bulldogs, champ.
Bulldogs.
He's heading back home to Detroit after 12 years with that organization. Remember, the Rams, they traded 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for Matthew Stafford because they felt like Matthew Stafford was the guy for them going forward than Jared Goff, and it panned out the first year with the Super Bowl victory. Jared Goff has an opportunity to go up against his old team, to go up against a team that finally had enough. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one because this is the first time since
Woo.
Detroit has clinched the division. Got to go back to what, the 90s, champ? 93, if I'm not mistaken.
1991, Wayne Fonts.
I'm sorry, 1991. Detroit hasn't won a playoff game for God knows how long. Last time they've been to the playoffs was 2016. So I'm going to go with the Rams in this one, the underdogs. Puka Nakua is going to show up in this game. I think Stafford, when it comes down most, he's going to have a game-winning moment, game-winning clutch drive. So I got the Rams. Leaf?
I ain't gonna lie to you. Listen, I said the entire year that the Lions was gonna be the class of our division. I think that Dan Campbell has changed the culture of this team and changed the stigma of the Lions being this bottom feeder and losers. And the crazy thing about this playoffs is that I can't remember the last time there was only one time in history that the Lions and the Browns finished with 10 or more wins on the season. The only other time that happened was in 1953. One of these teams are gonna do some damage. And I think the Lions are on a mission. And this may be the Jared Goff revenge game. Because I think he was dealt a bad deal. He was part of one of the like that team that he was on that made that Super Bowl was part of was one of the highest ranked offenses in NFL history. If I'm not mistaken, they was at least top 5 or top 10, whatever the case was. He was a part of that unit. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, those boys, I think they are ready to go off. And but this game may be a shootout because Dan Campbell is one of those dudes. He has a habit of greed. You know, that's but he's obviously he takes a lot of chances. I got the Lions in this one. I'm gonna go with 35-31. They're gonna be at home. That crowd is gonna be up, and that crowd is gonna be crazy. First home game since the '90s when they I think when they beat
They
that
beat the
Dallas
Cowboys.
team. Yeah, they mopped the floor with that Dallas team, and Barry Sanders ran roughshod on that game. But I think this crowd is going to be electric. I'm very proud for the Lions, man. Lions is one of the most least hated teams in my division. Don't give it. I don't give two craps about the Bears or the Vikings, man. But the Lions, I'm very impressed with what they done this season, and they are on a mission. 35-31 Lions.
All right, Trey.
Well, unlike Leaf, I feel like this is gonna be Matthew Stafford's moment to stick it to the Lions because they when they let him go, they was like good riddance. We glad he's out of here. Glad he's gone. Now you're gonna have to face him. And I believe he's gonna stick his whole foot in their back pocket. I got the Rams.
All right, Harrison.
Oh, damn. This is gonna be. This is kind of reminds me of Mookie Betts when he came back to Boston. He took off his helmet and waved to the crowd. That was damn. I feel like is Stafford gonna do the same thing? Like he take off his helmet and just like doing this, saying, "Man, thank you so much for this opportunity from in Detroit." But now he switched to a
Oh
different
no.
team. Huh?
I said, oh
During
no.
in a playoff game? Oh, absolutely not. They probably gonna let him have
I
it.
mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he's gonna. I don't know. That's a tough one, but I think it's gonna happen. Oh man, this is you cannot make a better script than this. I mean,
Not even
both.
Hollywood can make this shit up.
You're damn right, bro. I mean, both teams won the trade. I mean, the Rams won the Super Bowl, and the Lions have the future. Oh man, I'm going with Goff. I'm going with Goff in the Lions on this one. And Ben Johnson, if you come to Carolina, we'll take care of you. You know, you've been on the phone recently a lot. I know we've been hearing you from PSP's team as well. If you go to Washington, the Commanders have a future ahead of them, and you have no idea. You got Adam Peters. If you get Ben Johnson, and you got the legend Magic Johnson. I mean, come on, that's like a trio. That's like it's like the kids on the elementary school trying to pick who you want on your team. I mean,
Shout out to Ben Johnson, man. I think he if he goes to Washington, man, sky's the limit, man, for Washington. I think they're gonna head it back in the right direction.
they'll be cooking a 5-course meal plus dessert on that one.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They be cooking filet mignon
Let,
and
let,
shit.
Filet
let,
mignon,
let,
peppercorn stillman with a side of asparagus.
y'all trying to get me too hyped up right now. I swear, man, 2024 can't get any better. I mean,
But give me, but back, sorry, PSP. Like back
go
when I was
ahead.
saying, give me the Rams, not the Rams. Give me the Lions, 34-31.
And of course, champ.
Come on, champ.
Champ.
You got this one.
Yeah, my fault. I thought I was frozen for a second.
No,
Uh,
you good.
All right. People always want to talk about they wrong Jared Goff, but you ever notice when that Georgia Bulldog and Todd Gurley stopped being productive, Jared Goff's production stopped being as fluent as it was? I noticed. So, with that being said, that running game for Detroit is going to have to be essential in bailing him out once again. They better hope from a good game from David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs. So, with that being said, and I think they can have one. Feed those two backs. Let them run you to the next round. Detroit wins in their first playoff win since the great Barry Sanders.
Absolutely.
uh-huh.
This is gonna be a tough one, man. But
Hey,
but
before we get into the next game, man, shout out to the NFL, man, for producing some of the damn great storylines for this upcoming weekend, for this wild card weekend.
it
Revenge
But
has.
weekend.
oh,
Revenge weekend.
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
Hollywood couldn't make it up, man. And this is gonna be exciting. And one last little thing. Oh my God, Washington. It's only gonna get better because we have the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yes, you do.
Whether we're gonna draft a quarterback or not, maybe we draft Drake May. If it's that close, I think you're gonna have to take him because do you trust Sam Howell in the long term? I don't think so. So I think we probably gonna have to if you want to draft offensive lineman, defensive lineman, that's gonna be fine because again we did lose Sweat and Young. We traded them. Like I said, we're gonna have to trade Jonathan Allen, but Washington's future, make no words. It's not gonna be a joke moving forward. This is a new ownership. This is a new day. This is actually the first year of the Josh Harris Magic Johnson. They had to
Yes,
overcome Daniel Snyder, so I'm really optimistic about that. But I gotta wait and see how this plans out.
Mm-hmm.
And the last game, Eagles at Bucks, Monday Night Football. For those who may not know, I was actually at that Eagles Giants game last week, and boy, the Eagles played awful. They were god awful. They were
I
trash. They were burnt toast.
I
That's
want to
how
go first on this.
they were that bad. But Leaf, I'm gonna let you go first.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I said it weeks ago. The Philadelphia Eagles, this Philadelphia Eagles team has been reduced to the 20 has been reduced to the 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers, man. This is just a total dumpster fire. They have literally gone from contenders to the class of the NFC to dump doo doo toilet water in no time at all. This is absolute disgrace. The secondary has been bad. The overall defense has been mid to bad. Hurts can't stop turning the ball over. The play calling is a mess. This is I don't know how they get out of this game. I don't have any idea how they get out of this game, and they obviously they're going up against Butterscotch Mayfield, excuse me, Baker Mayfield.
Stop
Um,
disrespecting my quarterback.
Oh my
listen,
God. Okay, PSP. I'll give you your flowers.
Hmm.
listen. I look. I will say this: Tampa's defense is pretty damn good. Their running game is pretty good. I think they can support Baker, but if the Eagles somehow, some way pull this off, somehow, I don't know how, man, but listen, I'm not even gonna fool myself. This is gonna be a close game. I got the Buccaneers, but I'm not 100% certain about it. I got the Buccaneers by
Is it
3.
like an ugly fight, low scoring ball game in
I want to say
Tampa?
it's probably gonna be like maybe 17-14 at that most, but
Okay, that's not bad.
I,
Go
damn
ahead,
these.
Trey.
Oh man, the Eagles are so
Go ahead,
trash.
Trey. Go ahead,
Well,
Trey.
I got the Bucks. What it is, it ain't gonna be close. It's gonna be a major ass whooping. It's over. It's over for the Eagles. They're through. Send them home.
All right, Harrison.
Oh man. PSP, PSP, PSP. I am in a pickle right now. I'm having a hard time between my arch rivalry and Brian Johnson. which he's like Matt Canada 2.0, because we've been hearing about recently that we interviewed Brian Johnson. I don't want to deal with that motherfucker. Please do not send me the hell, or I'm gonna be back to be an Eagles fan. But I'm going with the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles on this one. I just don't like Tampa Bay, but I'll still get Baker Mayfield his fucking flowers. Uh, if he goes further on in the playoffs, I mean Baker Mayfield should win Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, man, that fucking game
I
for
mean,
against my team was fucking awful. 9-0 with DJ Chark. PSP. Remember that episode? Remember you know Flight, right? And you remember against the Jets and the Patriots. Remember he said, "You bitch ass," and then guess what? DJ Chark freaking fumble on the end zone. And that really just like set me off, and I just turned off my TV after that. But I'm going with the Eagles on this one. Give me probably 10-7.
Champ, champ, you're on, man. What's up?
Baker. That's all I'll say. Baker, comeback player of the year. PSP, do us all a favor. Let us see it.
Oh, not
Come on
this
now.
shit
Let
again.
us see the helmet. Let us see the
you gotta
helmet.
say
You know what?
Yeah.
You
Baker
know
Mayfield.
something, bro? I'm
And
changing. I'm changing my pick, man. Philly. I got them Philly by 3 off of that shit right there, man. Like the
Oh,
good.
shut the hell up, please.
your
First of all, I'm
good ass.
tired of the disrespect y'all giving on my boy Baker. For the record, I am not saying he's a franchise quarterback. I said he's a competent quarterback. Let's get that straight for the record.
He's gonna
And the only reason
competently
why
get his ass kicked.
Harrison is taking a shot at him is because how awful he was in Carolina. But that's
Dude,
a
I
story
gave you
for
his
another day.
dude. I gave you your flowers.
Yes.
Do you want
Just the
roses or dandelions? Which one do you
I want
want?
chocolates. I want champagne. I want to go on vacation. That's what I want. I want to go to
that
fucking
man said
Yeah, you
Mexico.
want to waste a ton of my money for
You want a whole
how much is it?
Valentine's
50
Day
bucks?
gift.
You
That's
try,
what he
hey
wants. Look
PSP,
like
you try to get flued out.
There you
trying to
go.
get flued out,
Here's
man.
some.
But
Here,
yeah,
take some
Flued out.
Hershey's
I
chocolate
got the
bars.
Bucks to win this game, but listen, this is not something that you all should enjoy, bro. The Eagles are dumpster fire,
man,
bro. Like they better win this game.
Oh, wait, we got
man,
Brandon from the block, man. Brandon,
man,
who you
like I
got for the
said,
Yo,
Eagles versus the Bucks?
oh, I got upset. I got Bucks. I'm already starting.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that's an upset, man, Brandon. You
And
by the way, you
How?
did tell me that the Seahawks was gonna make the playoffs, and I told you that they won.
Oh, here we go.
and Brandon, you were trying to be slick.
What you mean? What are you talking about?
The fuck you
oh, I saw that.
mean?
Don't act like, don't play.
Yeah, yeah, I still got Herbert over Lamar for right now.
And I also
I
told you
don't know
if
how.
In what world? Hold on. In what world?
Trey is a Baltimore fan,
What you
bro.
mean in what world? I think he's just a
Dude,
better. Hey, I value situations, bro. I don't know what's wrong with that.
The
all I'm gonna
situation
say
is
is this.
bad.
situation.
He's hurt. He was
There's
hurt.
the
I
guy
mean,
who
what are we
gave up a
talking
Yeah.
about?
27-point lead last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Hey,
see
let's
PSP.
let
Here we
PSP
go.
finish, guys. Let's let PSP finish.
All I'm
All right.
gonna say is this, Brandon. Like I said on your pod, if CJ Stroud plays a spectacular game and wins, we may
Mm,
have to have a discussion about CJ being better than Justin Herbert.
listen, PSP, and I can't wait to have that conversation. Cause guess what? Herbert's still better.
Mm.
Herbert, Stroud,
I
and
don't know.
Lamar,
I
they in
don't
the
know how
same
long
tier.
y'all gonna ride this
I think we're
Herbert
not same
train,
tier,
but
but they close to each other.
I don't know how long this Herbert charade is gonna go on, bro. But
Herbert's still
listen,
top five,
Brandon,
bro.
Brandon will go on forever.
No, he's still top five. But
Mm-hmm.
at some point in time, though, with a new head coach,
Hey,
we're
hey,
gonna
leave
see
you.
how long it's gonna last.
I
Leave,
think we gotta. I
leave.
think we
You want
have
to
to
hear my
put
top
that.
five?
I think we have to put the top five on hold, being that this year for quarterbacks was a C minus at best from
You
every quarterback, and I
go
think we
ahead,
could
Brandon,
respectfully
because
all
we got
say
to do some start benches and cuts.
Okay. For my top five quarterbacks overall, Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. Burrow, Allen, Rogers. and Herbert.
Even though Rogers didn't only play 4 snaps, but okay.
Yeah, yeah, Rogers still top five.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's do some start benches and cuts. Casual, please hop back on the pod because we're about to start a WWE one, so don't act as if I forgot about you. So this is one I came up with.
Oh, oh, you a mother.
Oh,
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 son
this
of
was
a.
easy right here. This was
Oh,
easy.
you's a motherfucker for this. Okay, but I ain't gonna lie, it
I
is
always get
somewhat
blamed people.
easy.
Leaf always accuses me of being a motherfucker. It ain't nothing new, but go ahead, Leaf.
Um, damn. I'm gonna start Edge. The most championships in WWE history. Tag team titles, world titles, whatever you want to name, singles titles, tag titles, all of that. Could have easily been and probably still is to this day. Easily a top five tag team. With somebody else that happens to be on that list. Um, just listen, the moments that he has was underrated on a lot of those cards at WrestleMania and in those big events during the Attitude Era, and it's going into the Ruthless Era, because the Ruthless Era he just stepped up his game, just being that heel to the John Cena in the John Cena years. But what I remember most is those tag team years, man. Them TLC matches was nothing short of magic. From the very first one at SummerSlam and number two at WrestleMania 17, arguably stole the show. The spear off the top of the ladder when he had hit Jeff Hardy and playing in the middle of the ring. I thought both of them. I didn't think neither one of them was getting up from that, because that right there was like, what the hell. Um,
Another great
the,
spirit, Leaf, in WrestleMania. You forgot.
yeah. Another great spear in WrestleMania, of course, was on Mick Foley
Yes.
with the burning table. They damn near almost burned their bodies to a damn crisp, as the story goes. But Edge, I think even with the 8 year hiatus that he had that he had, well, wasn't really a hiatus, the 8 year layoff, because of the injuries, man, he just took it to the limit. I think he really maxed out in, as far as WWE is concerned, man. I think I got Edge to start. I'm going to bench Jericho. The reason being is because I felt like WCW, he was obviously underused. In WWE, I think he had maxed, but the thing was he was basically on the back end of the Triple H's and the Rocks and the Stone Cold Steve Austins in the early 2000s, basically trying to get a hold and trying to be the uppercut over them. If you look at anybody in that era, in that the last echelon of that Attitude Era, he is probably the last of that, man. The Y2J era, I mean, as good as it was, and it had that fizzle when it started, and it kind of was one of those faded out type of joints, and then he tried to re-revolutionize it with the list, which was a lot more comedic, and because he definitely had that comedic timing. But Jericho was definitely one of those guys that was he definitely entertained quite a bit, man. A lot of his quotes was pretty okay, But Jericho, I don't think he really had that flair that Edge had. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut Christian. Christian, great tag team guy, great Intercontinental Champion, great run in WWE. It's just I don't think he had enough over the two. Um, for me, man, it was just like he was a great wrestler, but like great in the ring. But
just wasn't enough over those three. So I'm gonna start Edge, bench Y2J, and we gonna have to cut a Christian.
All right, Brandon.
All right. Um, I'm starting Edge. Bitching Jericho, cutting Christian. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for me.
All right, Trey.
Well, y'all, some of y'all probably ain't gonna like this. Well, I'm starting Jericho. I'm
Yeah,
That's
benching
not that
Edge,
that's
and
not
this.
cutting,
that's not crazy.
and I'm cutting, and I'm cutting Christian
Yeah, it's
because I just feel like, man, Jericho when he was handed a golden opportunity, he took it and ran with it. Like when they first brought him to WWE, and he just got thrown in the main event scene immediately, like boom. And WCW had to be kicking themselves in the ass because they dropped the ball with him.
All right,
And
Champ.
Edge,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Edge,
Trey. Go ahead.
and Edge, man, when Edge was a heel, Edge was an asshole.
I couldn't stand Edge as a heel though.
I mean, the beast between him and John Cena.
Oh, what's wrong? Hold on.
No,
Wait, wait, wait,
did you
wait,
see
wait,
what
wait,
he
wait,
did
wait,
at
wait.
ECW One Night Stand?
Yes, I remember that one.
I think
When he pinned
Y2J Hill runs
Bueller
was pretty.
McGillicuddy and he put her like in a hump position, like he was humping her. I'm like, what the hell?
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of that, speaking of that, y'all remember the Edge and Lita
Oh
Yes.
segment?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We remember that.
We
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to go
that
too further.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
we
don't
don't
want to
want to
go
get
too.
to that.
yeah,
We don't
don't.
want to go too further.
Yeah,
that's
Champ,
too deep.
Champ, who you starting
That was
benching and
champagne
cutting?
room.
Hey, did Harrison go?
Harrison doesn't follow wrestling.
Oh, I apologize, Harrison. My bad. Okay, I just want to make sure I ain't steal nobody's turn. Hmm.
but yeah, all right, went.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm starting Chris Jericho.
It's not
Okay.
crazy.
The thing is, people underestimate him as far as I like Chris Jericho as far as consistency. And people can understate what he did at WCW, but he was arguably one of the best cruiserweights they had. And those matches between him and Rey Mysterio during the early days, the matches, a rivalry between him and Demon Lico, the rivalry between him and Juventud Guerrera, you cannot understate those and how much it meant to WCW when it was beating the WWE in the Monday Night Wars. Hey, not to mention, Jericho was the first wrestler in history to not only beat The Rock and your GOAT PSP Stone Cold in the same night to become the very first WWE undisputed champion, but he was also one of the first to participate in the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget his rivalry with Shawn Michaels. Let's not forget, I'm talking about both times. It was epic. The reason why I bench Edge is because, yes, he was at his peak, one of the greatest superstars in the WWE. He just could not stay healthy in order to see those peaks out. And it seems like later on, he ended up coming in and interfering with another person's like reign. Like remember when Batista and the Undertaker was in the middle of big huge big huge feud, and he kind of interfered in that. And it was just kind of I couldn't stand him as a heel neither. I'm just gonna put that out there. I didn't like Edge as a heel neither, but uh but he just could not stay healthy long enough to him to see out his range. And I think he could have had a lot more greater quality matches. But I really feel like Chris Jericho, he was the epitome of longevity of what it means to be a long-term professional wrestler. Christian Cage, he was great in TNA. Unfortunately, not enough juice in the WWE, not enough juice in the WWE in order to sustain. And sometimes I hate the fact that they did this to him, but sometimes, as great a wrestler as he was, after he left Edge for a good little while, they made a mockery of him at a certain point. He was like a sideshow act. And it's just like, especially when they put him in that feud with DDP and WrestleMania, it was just kind of like they was making a joke out of him. We really saw what he could do when he got to TNA, but I will say this: but he was real, real good. But I don't think they gave him the shot that he deserved his first go around. It took him going to TNA, and a lot of people wouldn't relate TNA as really up there unless you are a real super savant. But he had some great matches out there in TNA, especially with Marcus Corban.
It's a tough one, champ. For me, I'm gonna start Edge. Even though you can't go wrong with Chris Jericho because, as you mentioned, the longevity part. But I'm a guy with that peak, and I think Edge, the wrestling, the spears, as Leaf alluded to, the matches with Mick Foley. I mean, if you want to talk about having great matches, folks, you better go have one with Mick Foley. And of course, the ladder matches. I think personality. Also, let's not forget that matches he had with the Undertaker too. I think it was the Hell in a Cell champ or the Steel Cage one. I
Yeah,
mean, he had some great matches with the Undertaker, and I just like his mic skills. Man, Edge back in them days when he was on that mic, he was fun. I'm gonna start him. I'm gonna bench Jericho, and I'm gonna cut Christian. But I do think Christian is very underrated. I just don't think people have given him enough credit or due. So let's move on to a music start, bench, and cut.
uh-oh.
Mhm.
Producers.
Oh, here we go.
Ew.
Oh my!
Champ, I'm gonna let you go first.
Hold on,
If I
who
can have
who
a
are the
little bit
three?
more time
Hold
to
on, who are the
elaborate.
three?
Jermaine Dupri, Swiss Beats, and Timbaland.
Oh, okay,
I'll give somebody else a turn. I don't want to go first if you don't mind, PSP.
All right,
okay.
go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
I
Wait,
I'll
wait,
go.
who was it again?
Swiss Beats, Jermaine Dupri, and Timbaland. Start, bench, and cut.
All right, I already know
Mm.
mine. I'm starting Jermaine Dupri. There's no doubt in my mind.
Huh?
I'm starting Jermaine. Well, we're not doing Jermaine Dupri. Let's not do this. Jermaine Dupri had hits. He beaten almost a lot of these producers. Let's not do this. He's beaten Diddy.
Huh?
Yes, he is beating Diddy. What we talking about?
Oh no,
Wait, wait,
no,
wait.
brother.
He's beating
No,
Diddy.
sir.
Whoa,
No, he
He is
ain't.
whoa,
beating Diddy.
whoa. Pump the
Do
brakes.
you know
Slow your
Jermaine
roll.
Dupri had?
He had Bow Wow and the Brat and
Leaf, we're talking about producing.
Drew
So
Hill.
he had Usher, he had Mary J, he had what you just said, Bow Wow and all them. He had
Crisscross,
yeah,
Jagged Edge.
he had all of them.
Crisscross,
Also,
Jagged
Def was kind of
Edge.
like the down south version of
Mhm.
Bad Boy at a certain point.
They were.
Yeah,
I give him that.
and I'm
Well,
benching I'm benching Timberland. I'm cutting on Switch Beats.
yeah. Let me follow that by saying
I love
you
sweet.
out.
I like Sweet Beats though.
Let me follow that by saying you out of your damn mind.
I'm really not.
Yeah, you really are. Um, damn. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who to start, but I'm definitely not starting no JD. Um, if I got to start somebody, damn, Beats was better. Who Beats was better than me? I'm gonna have to start Swiss like that. Like what he did for DMX.
like he's all over DMX's projects, and we talking about two platinum selling albums in 1 year, and then going on to everything Rough Riders and everything LOX and all of them going on to Jay Z's records, man. Like anybody that you could think of, banned from TV with the Noriega and like, listen, I'm gonna start him, man. Just to be fair. I'm gonna have to bench Timberland. Timberland. He had obviously had Missy Aaliyah, Jay-Z. He did a couple of Hove albums. He was a lot. He was all over the place as well. I respect what JD has done with So Def, and made a lot of money off of Bow Wow and a lot of them down there in the Brat and all that. But that's my list, man. I'm gonna have to cut him off. So I'm starting Swiss. I'm a bench Timbo and JD. I'm gonna have to eventually cut JD.
Trey.
Well, I'm starting. I'm gonna start Swiss Beats. I'm also gonna cut Tim. I'm not cutting Timberland, but I'm benching Timberland, and I'm gonna cut Jermaine Dupri.
Champ.
Hmm. Man, I'm starting Timberland. I'm starting Timberland, man. I mean, if you could go on and on and on. And one of my favorite songs that he did with my guy, you know I'm from Georgia. You know what I'm about to say. One of my favorite songs that he did, and nobody could ever thought that he could put somebody over like a Pastor Troy what he did Are We Cutting? Because leading up until that point, hey, people only knew Pastor Troy regionally in the state of Georgia and down south. But once he gave Pastor Troy that beat, everybody was rocking. Everybody was just going, especially with him and Miss Jade on that track. That was epic. Not to mention, like I said, Aaliyah, just to name a few of the things that he did. Not to mention, man, they talk about Swiss Beats being all over that Rough Riders album. Hey, man, do y'all remember He Ain't Ready? They Ain't Ready? With
I do
Jadakiss?
remember that.
Yeah,
With
you know,
Jadakiss
then
and
he did
Bubba
the Bubba
Sparks.
Sparks
Yeah,
album. Yeah. He did a man,
yeah.
it was a multitude of stuff that and unlike a lot of guys, you know, he worked with everybody. I mean, he could put. I mean, you get a Timberland beat, you know, you pretty much put over at a certain point. Uh,
I would agree with you.
so here's where the tricky part gets in. Hey, love you, sweet beats, but I'm staying down south with JD, bro. I'm
I
benching
already knew
JD.
it. I knew you was gonna do it.
I'm
I knew
benching
you was gonna
JD.
do it.
Hey man, Hey man, let me tell you something. So Death was on the map long before Bow Wow. People only remember Bow Wow and guys like that. Remember Chris Cross, Tonight is the Night. Remember some of those
Tell
epic
him about
songs,
it, bro.
that he made with, To
The
Live
rap.
and Die for Hip Hop. Remember that he made the So Death bass album. He made bass albums popular. Remember him with Kilo Ali.
Tell him.
Remember with him and Raheem the Dream. Remember with him and some of the most epic rappers that came from down south. At one point, he was up there with P. Diddy as one of the greatest music moguls, arguably during that time in the 2000s. And people don't even understand, man. Jermaine Dupri made one of Jay-Z's biggest songs, Money Ain't a Thing.
Mm.
He did.
So I mean, we can't sell JD short. I know there's a lot of northern bias, but hey man, look here. JD is right up there with Diddy as far as producing and bringing out acts are concerned. And he had the Brad Bow Wow. He was responsible for doing things with 106 apart.
And
JD
Usher
was
too.
yeah, and Usher too.
He
And
produced
JD
songs
was
with
the man. JD was
mm,
the man
he
at one
he
point in time.
produced songs with Mariah
He
Carey,
it
bro.
wasn't Little John at A&R at so deaf
Yes,
at one point.
yes, and then he did songs with Luda. I mean,
Yeah.
JD essentially
Welcome
put
to Atlanta.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and JD essentially put down south on the map. I mean, there's
Facts.
no other act other than
I
maybe
give you that.
Outkast
Y'all,
that was
y'all
more
tripping.
responsible for the South getting recognized as a powerhouse in rap.
I'll give you that. I got to
Yeah.
I
make a
have to
point
give
here.
so I have to give him that. Swiss Beats, love him. Favorite song, Get In on the Flow. But hey, you got to. In my opinion, what makes a great producer is the ability to work with everybody.
Yep.
That's the thing. What makes you is
Collaboration.
yeah, is your ability to work with everybody. And I hate to go back to this song, but when Timberland did that song with Pastor Troy, and outside of the state of Georgia and the region of the South, really people didn't. It's arguably people didn't know who the great Pastor Troy was. Arguably, he wasn't really known up north like that. But when he put Pastor Troy on that song, and they blew, and everywhere you went, they was playing "All We Cutting." That was epic, and that just showed you can work with anybody and still be a great producer. That's it for me, bro. Sorry I went so long.
No, it's all good. I agree with you on Timberland. I'm starting. Don't forget, let's not forget him and Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Great duo between them two, and then how they worked with Aaliyah, that 1 in a Million.
Mm-hmm.
Also Nelly Furtado, Promiscuous, all the other
Yeah.
tracks. That was a hell of an album back then at that time.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
beats,
Timberland got some hits.
yeah, he definitely got some hits, and also to Champ's point, the collaboration. So I'm starting with Tim. This is tough, man, because I love me some Swiss Beats. I mean, I love what he did with the DMX and all the other tracks, but unfortunately, I have to bench JD, and I'm gonna have to cut Swizzy. Swizzy's great. None of us are taking anything away what he's done, but Jermaine, I mean, the Atlanta. I mean, you get Bow Wow. And also, he also helped out in the with Usher with
Mm-hmm.
My Way, champ.
Like, come
Mm-hmm.
on,
97.
bro.
Remember
Come
that song
on,
You Make
man.
Me Wanna? And then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
also to the
Confession.
Confessions. We
Yeah.
can't
Yep.
we can't disregard that. We can't also disregard the other tracks he's done for a lot of other artists. Didn't he work with Janet Jackson at one point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Then
Mariah
Mariah
Carey.
Carey. Yeah.
yeah. So
He was
when
bigger than arguably anyone at one point in time. You could people talk about Puffy, and I think it's a lot of like I said, it's a lot of Southern bias
And
when it
plus, he
comes to
put
that.
ATL with that
Yeah,
hip hop map, man.
yeah,
Because when you think hip hop and rap, you think New York, but he also helped put ATL on the map as well.
yeah. I mean, if not put it on them, I think him and Out. I can't think of no other two entities that was more responsible for down south rap being recognized as a total entity than Scarface, UGK, Outkast, and Jermaine Dupri. I
Mm.
mean, they made, and people will say this, people won't say this, but they made Atlanta hip hop the spot for you to want to come to. And like I said, check out those Jermaine Dupri, So Death Bass albums. Check out some of those albums with Kilo Ali and some of those guys. Check out those albums. I mean, especially doing certain events that happened back in the 90s. Hey, we won't mention them on here, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
But certain events back in the 90s, guess who was rocking that place? Jermaine Dupri
Dupree.
and a lot of the Atlanta rappers. Yeah. So, you got to give credit where credit is due. I know he's from the South and everybody want to have this Southern bias. And not only that, he went on tour with Whodini. The Freaks Come Out at Night. So, I mean,
Hmm.
he was always in hip hop.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, you got last two right here. Place for vacay. I did this on TikTok.
Mm.
Mm.
Mexico or Jamaica? Beautiful places. I've not been to Jamaica. I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna. I'll lean to. I'm thinking about Jamaica, but I'm gonna go to Mexico. Good food. Hey, listen. Anytime if I want to watch football, Mexico loves their football, so I won't be distracted or bothered at all. Good food, good alcohol, great weather, all that. No, I've been to Mexico in 2009. It's great. I would
What
love
part
to
did you
go.
go?
Huh?
I don't mean to
Cancun.
interrupt. Cancun? Okay.
Cancun. Yeah, man, it's good, man. Nothing better than good food. But so I'm telling you, you got to go to Mexico. So that's for me. What about you, champ?
Hey. I'm glad that you said that because I'm on the way to Los Cabos this year, so I'm picking Mexico, bro.
Mm.
And I'm gonna have a ball when we go out there too. So it's I can't wait to experience first time outside of the army, me being out of the country like that when I ain't got to go nowhere where you get it. So I ain't got to go nowhere and really be looking in the sky. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. My mother and my sister, they went to Jamaica though. I mean, but they say it's beautiful. I've seen pictures of it, but I'm gonna go with Mexico, man. Especially because of what we saw as kids growing up on MTV Spring
Yes.
if ain't it, I never. If it ain't anything but that, what we saw on MTV Spring Break wanted you to be in Cancun, Mexico on those days. I mean, from you know guys performing on stage, the Cisco Shakedown. Remember Cisco Shakedown? I remember all of that, man.
The
All of
the
that was
the
on MTV Spring Break. That was beautiful. So um, hey, Mexico, bro.
Brandon.
It's hard. I ain't never been to one of these places. But I have to choose. I might go Mexico. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
I might go Mexico. But I would love to go to Jamaica though.
Yeah, I would love to too. That's a
Yeah.
great spot too. My mom's actually been there, so she tells me all the time it's a great place for her to relax and chill. Trey.
I'm gonna have to take Mexico on this one
Oh wow,
because I
unanimous.
ain't
So,
even though I ain't never really been to Jamaica, but or Mexico. But if I had to choose, I'd go to Mexico.
all right. All of us agree. Mexico, and besides, good football, a lot of fun things to do, great places to be at, champ. I'm telling you for a fact. So I'm glad that you're going back there. And we're gonna continue on with Mexico. Favorite food: Mexican food or Chinese food? Brandon, you go first.
Chinese. Yeah,
Why
I'm going
so?
Chinese. Um, I like that kung pao chicken. Um,
Okay.
I like that. And then we got a lot of Chinese places where I'm at and stuff like that. Like I like their like I'm a normal dude. I eat like shrimp fried rice or like I'm really basic. Chicken teriyaki. Yeah, I'm real basic. So I'm going Chinese.
All right. Can't go wrong with that. Trey.
I would have to choose Mexican food. Like, yeah, that's where it's at. I like all types of Mexican food, like tacos, burritos, uh, any, anything Mexican food. Like,
All right. Champ.
Hey, if you're ever in a bad mood, get you some burrito tacos.
Oh,
Get you some burrito tacos with some of that chili dipping sauce, and get you a Corona or a margarita, a top shelf. When you go to the bar, excuse me, get you a top shelf margarita and make sure they put the Grand Marnier in there. Make sure they don't short you on the Grand Marnier. So make sure they give you one of them, and don't go over two of them on those top shelf margaritas. Don't go over two of them because they gonna put all types of tequila in there and they gonna top it off with Grand Marnier. Don't drink more than two. Trust me when I tell you this. If you're ever in a bad mood, go to a good Mexican spot and get you the Maria tacos and get you a top shelf margarita. Make sure they put the Grand Marnier in there. Shout out to El Vaquero in Columbus, Georgia. Some of the best food you ever want to eat.
Damn, they got all the hookups there in Columbus, Georgia. But again, it's the South. Can't go wrong with good food in the South. Y'all
Mm-mm.
know that. Mexican food, not even close. I love Chinese food. I like the house fried rice where it has everything in it. Kung Pao chicken ain't bad. I like the boneless spare ribs though. Boneless spare ribs are good. But for me, man, tacos, quesadillas, burritos, all the empanadas. I mean, some good empanadas to go with, man. And champ, ain't nothing wrong than washing it down with a nice cold glass of beer.
Mm-hmm.
And then and you got your delicious vegetables, some rice and beans. Make sure you have it with some rice and beans and some tortilla chips as
Mm-hmm.
well to go along with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast. Fellas, any last words before we wrap up the show?
Um, y'all know where to find me at on YouTube, Brandon from the Block. Um, Twitter, the real BN923, and Instagram, BBN923. We on the road to 500 subscribers. Um, I want to hit 1,000 before the year ends, though.
You will.
That's my goal. That's my goal. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Undisputed world champ.
Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Y'all know what it is. Hey, love y'all. Sleep well tonight in this 42-degree weather. So
Mm,
sleep well tonight, Columbus, Georgia. No crime tonight, please. So, hey, follow me on Undisputed World Champ on TikTok, World Champ underscore 2.0 on Instagram, Undisputed GOAT Podcast coming during the weekend of the NFC Championship.
yeah.
Mm.
It will be a rough show. It's not. I don't have all the bells and whistles, but we're gonna have them put a good panel together on the weekend of the NFC and AFC championship. But we're gonna go live that night. We're gonna have a good. We're gonna go live that day. Make some prediction, not only for the AFC and NFC championship. We're gonna predict some draft picks on there. Have a good old time. And
Mm.
PSP, hey, you're more than welcome. But my other guest will be BRF Sports from TikTok. Go follow BRF Sports on TikTok as well.
BRF.
But
I
hey,
think I heard of 'em.
PSP, yeah, PSP, you put me on. Brandon, you more than welcome. Y'all two guys always have me on your show. I want to take this time and courtesy to invite you to mine. Thank
For
y'all for
sure. For
everything
sure.
y'all have done for myself
Will do.
and the team that I have. We appreciate y'all. And I'm going to be more than happy to invite you to my show. I'm only going to run it a certain amount of times per week,
For
maybe
sure.
like once every 2 weeks, so that we can keep up appearances. But once this gets live and in living color, it's really going to be live next football season, and that's
For
when we'll be
sure.
cranking it up. But I'll still be on you guys' shows, so don't worry about that. But I will take this time to invite both of you, since you always ask me to be on your shows, to invite you to mine, and it's going to be a blast, bro. I can't wait to see you guys.
For sure.
Absolutely, we love that, and we always tell you, champion. We know we got to get this dude champ in the building. Knows his football, knows his basketball, knows his
Yep.
sports, knows everything in general. Man, he's definitely a necessity to sports media, and I definitely see him in the big leagues as well as with the rest of us. But anyway, y'all know where to follow me at Sports PSP. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Sports PSP podcast, as
Mm-hmm.
well as follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, on any other social media that I'm on. Also, folks, I just released the latest video. What should the Bears do with the number one overall pick? It's already been a day and almost 700 views. The newest video that's out, Undertaker, Andre the Giant, Bret the Hitman Hart, start bench and cut. I'm gonna do some clips on it later tonight. It should be released tomorrow. Also, the video on Lamar Jackson, 5.3.
Good job, PSP.
Well, it ain't
That's
just
what's
me.
up, man.
I want to thank y'all as well, Champ as well, Harrison, Broad, Brandon. I want to thank everyone. So it's everyone. I want to say we family. Even though all of us,
Mm-hmm.
we work, we live in different places, y'all are like family to me. So I want to
For
thank
sure.
everyone for helping me along the way. Sports PSP is now at 1.2 thousand. The goal is 2,000. So we only going to get better and better, and we ain't going to stop. To the fans out there, to my actual family, thank you for actually with the podcast game. Help, and I want to give a special shout out to Moss PSP because she actually helped me out as far as with the background and everything and things of that nature, helping me turn her office into a sports room. Ma, thank you for everything that you've done as
That's
a
a
son
W.
to a ma. Love you. Thank you for always believing in me. I know it wasn't always easy, but thank you for helping me get through ups and downs. And you're the best. As for the rest of the crew, everybody here, hope y'all enjoying y'all Friday night. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend with some good football, friends and family. And for that, we is out. Peace.